DAB digital radio and 1089 and 1053 AM. Kick-off Champions League live on Talksport.
Well, Stan Collymore was right. The ground is not quite full, but it is absolutely jumping. Whatever the reason that fans of Chelsea and FC Copenhagen are making a tremendous racket here at Stamford Bridge. It is a spectacle being added to by the Copenhagen team taking the pitch, as Sam Matterface will soon tell you, in what can only be described as a kind of germaline, if anyone still has germaline, pink top. Amazing kit from FC Copenhagen. Of course the game should go Chelsea's way, but the beauty of football is that you never know, and that's why the drama will unfold here over the next 90 minutes with a prize, of course, of a place in the last 8 of the Champions League. As the players make their way through the early parts of the formalities before the kick-off, let's hand over now to our commentary team here at Stamford Bridge. Your match summariser and expert is Stan Collymore, and your match commentator is the next voice you'll hear, that of Sam Matterface.
Well, what an amazing atmosphere at Stamford Bridge, and you've got to pay tribute to the FC Copenhagen supporters who have come over to get behind their team. They've done brilliantly ever since we arrived here at around about, well, we got into the stand about 6:30 tonight, and they were already here making their presence felt inside Stamford Bridge, and the Chelsea fans have responded as well in kind by getting behind their team ahead of kick-off tonight. They'll remember that this time 12 months ago a rare Champions League defeat at Stamford Bridge knocked them out of the competition, sparked a huge internal investigation, laid the seeds for Ray Wilkins' departure, and ultimately inspired their double success in a way. They won't be collecting a double this season, no doubt about that, but maybe their most likely trophy is the one that has so far eluded them the most. Chelsea will take a step closer to Wembley tonight as long as they don't concede 2 goals, which is pretty unlikely. So unlikely, in fact, that in the pursuit of a sort of double himself, Carlo Ancelotti is so confident of a positive outcome that he's left out the likes of Torres, Essien and Florent Malouda tonight. Stella Solbakken, the Copenhagen coach, insists that his team will try to make Chelsea nervous this evening, and if they were to get the first goal here on this crisp early spring evening, then some of those in blue might start thinking back to that Inter Milan game last season. But let's have it right, no doubt about it. Copenhagen are the weakest team in the competition, and they haven't ever got this far before. We're going to pause again in the next few minutes to pay tribute to the victims of the Japan earthquake, just as we did last night. Let's hope the minute silence is a little bit better observed than it was last evening. While the two teams get ready for that, I'll just run down the 11s for you. Chelsea with Petr Cech in goal, a back four of Jose Bosingwa, Branislav Ivanovic, John Terry the captain, and Ashley Cole. In midfield, Ramirez, John Obi Mikel, Frank Lampard, Yuri Zhirkov, with Didier Drogba and Nicolas Anelka up front. On the bench, Turnbull, Essien, Torres, Malouda, Ferreira, Kalou and McEachran. FC Copenhagen make a couple of changes from the first leg. They've had 2 games since that outing in the Parken Stadium. They lost 1-2-0 away from home, and they managed to get their solitary victory of the second half of their season on Saturday against Aalborg. Johan Wieland is the goalkeeper, a back four of Wendt, Zanka, Antonsen and Bengston. In midfield, Bolaños, Claudemir, Kvist and Vingard, and then Jesper Gronkia, the former Chelsea player, will operate behind Dame Ndoye, the Senegalese striker, who will look to play on the shoulder of the last defender and has had a formidable partnership with Cesar Santin so far this season. So here is the minute silence that we were talking about for the victims of the disaster in Japan. Well, for the second night in a row, we've had football fans letting themselves down.
Disgusting, to be perfectly honest, isn't it? We had a few idiots from Marseille in the top tier of the scoreboard stand at Old Trafford last night.
That one
a few
was
here today.
I mean, we were at 20 seconds.
I don't understand why people say shh, 'cause it just adds to the noise. Just be quiet, take responsibility for your own silence, if you like.
Anyway, there is a football match to be played here. John Terry eloquently talked about the victims of the Japan disaster in his programme notes today. Carlo Ancelotti also made mention of it and also spoke about the need to ensure that he doesn't allow Copenhagen a chance to get back into this match. Copenhagen wearing those cerise, bright, fluorescent pink shirts in black shorts and black socks, shooting from left to right towards the Matthew Harding stand in this first half. Get us off and underway. Chelsea in blue shirts with white trim and white socks, shooting from right to left towards the Copenhagen supporters in the shed end, away to our left. Have the ball over on the far side. The ball is immediately picked up by Jesper Gronkier, who knocks Branislav Ivanovic to the floor, and it's a free kick to Chelsea just outside the penalty area on the right side.
Well, we've been fortunate enough to see Chelsea here many times this season. We've almost been Jekyll and Hyde. Lots of fantastic performances, lots of superb attacking football. I think it's vitally important tonight. They're in the opening 20-25 minutes. They really set their stall out.
Well, they have possession of the ball. They're looking to qualify for the quarterfinals of the competition once again. They played the ball down the right-hand side, looking for Jose Bosingwa, who's just strayed offside as he tried to take on Pierre Bengston. He stayed inside the Copenhagen half after the rest of the pink-shirted defence had darted out, and he was indeed offside, and it's a free kick to FC Copenhagen. Well, Chelsea, of course, have got a great record in this competition. In 5 of the last 7 seasons, they've qualified for the semi-finals or better. Last year, they went out to the holders. In fact, in the last 3 years, they've gone out to the team that eventually went on to win the competition. I think if they were to be eliminated tonight, well, not only would it be a surprise, but I don't think it would be to the eventual winners of the tournament, no doubt about that, with all due respect to the team that Stella Solbakken has put together. Here on the near side, the right, Bolaños is chasing the ball, can't get on the end of it. Chelsea have possession once again. Bosingwa being tracked by Gronkier, and immediately I think the tactic for FC Copenhagen is to start as quick as possible by putting Chelsea on the back foot.
Well, they literally have nothing to lose, do they? In terms of the way that Stella Solbakken will set them up, he will prep them in the dressing room and he'll say, this is your cup final, can you go and do the impossible? For Chelsea, expecting Ashley Cole on the left hand side, Jose Bosingwa at right full back to get forward at every opportunity, put crosses in the box, get Didier Drogba on the score sheet tonight.
Drogba chests the ball down, tries to find Ashley Cole 15 yards inside the opposition half, goes out of play off of Bolaños and out for a throw. Bolaños is wearing his headband tonight, but not his snood, because of course since the first game snoods have been banned. Ball down the left, looking for Ashley Cole. Cole getting towards the corner flag, taking on the fullback Vent. Ball back in field towards Yuri Zhirkov, who's playing on the left hand side of midfield tonight. Mikel, and now Cole, who's beaten the offside trap. Chance to cross into the centre, looks for Lampard, tries to clip it in at the near post. It was a little bit of an acute angle, and he tried to go to the near post when probably the far post was the better option. He stabbed his shot towards goal and it went into the side netting. First chance for Chelsea, and we've played 3 minutes.
That's exactly the start we were looking for. We're talking about the fullbacks getting into advanced positions. Ashley Cole plays a lovely little 1-2 with Yuri Zhirkov, and then he's looking to whip the ball in hard and low round the edge of the 6-yard box, looking for one of the strikers or attacking midfielders, in Frank Lampard's case, to get on the end of it. Lampard couldn't turn it round the corner onto a shot on target. Good start by the Blues.
Here come Chelsea with Anelka being tracked in centre midfield by Kvist. Kvist wins the ball just right of centre and then loses out once again to Frank Lampard. And now Anelka's got it from Zhirkov, and in the left channel of the field, operating in the offensive position. Chelsea coming forward. The ball is retrieved by Cloudemire. Cloudemire pops it out to the far side of the left. A chance for Pierre Bengston to run forward very quickly into the Chelsea half. Chelsea with now 8 men back behind the ball. Infield the ball goes. It's forward to Vingard. Vingard back out to the left and Gronkier back out to Bergsten. Bergsten onto the centre and Cloudemire. Cloudemire to Kvist, and Kvist sees it all the way back to his central defender in Zanka. And Copenhagen have the ball once again. Here's Oscar Wendt. Poor ball by him, but Bolaños will rescue it ahead of Frank Lampard in the centre of the Chelsea midfield. Bolaños has got it once more. Back to the halfway line it goes. Wendt tries to help it on to Bolaños down the right side, but he was asking quite a lot of the Costa Rican once again. It goes into the left full-back area of the field as Chelsea look at it, and John Terry is there to sweep up the danger and clear it back to Petr Cech, who hacks upfield. Anelka is pushed, and now Chelsea, the home side, have a free kick inside the centre circle. We've played a little over 4 minutes here on Talksport with Ford, the official sponsors of the Champions League.
Really want Chelsea to go for broke tonight and really put this team to the sword and give them massive confidence going into big Premier League games. Of course, they play Manchester City at the weekend on Sunday. And as managers will tell you, it's better than training. Go out and play, put in a good performance, earn the day off tomorrow, and then back for big Premier League clashes come the weekend.
Our referee today, by the way, is Sven Oddvar Muen, who is a Norwegian official. He oversaw Arsenal's 5-1 win over Shakhtar Donetsk in the Emirates earlier in the season. It's his first campaign in Champions League football. And as I said, he was Norwegian, which will bring Chelsea back memories of Tom Henning Øvrebø, the man who denied them 3 or 4 penalties, legitimate ones, in their game against Barcelona, for which they were eventually eliminated from the tournament. Here over on the far side, that was a couple of years ago, is Bergsten. Bergsten down the left looking for Gronkia, who's just straight offside as he collects the ball. He kicks it out of play, and it's away for a free kick to Chelsea over on the right-hand side. Chelsea, who haven't lost by more than 1 goal at home in the Champions League for 10.5 years.
It's not going to happen tonight, I'm afraid, either.
And unless it does, Chelsea are going through to the next stage of the competition.
And if it does happen, and the unthinkable were to happen, I suggest that Carlo Ancelotti will be picking up his P45 from Roman Abramovich, but it's not going to happen.
Some suggestion that may well happen unless he wins the Champions League this season. Here's Lampard, who's given the ball away. Vingard now picks it up, darts forward over the halfway line, into the left channel. He's got Gronka outside him, but he's running towards the edge of the penalty area. He's brought down on the edge of the box by the backtracking John Obi Mikel, and the free kick is given 5 yards outside the penalty area for FC Copenhagen. This is a real chance for them early in the game.
It was an excellent run by Jesper Gronka. Of course, we'll need no reminding Chelsea fans of what he's capable of. Runs diagonally in between the right-sided central defender and Jose Bosingwa. Just about gets on the edge of the 18-yard box and picks up a very useful free kick. I'd say this one favours the right footer up and over the wall to Petr Cech's top left hand.
Well, you would have seen Martin Vingard in the game between England and Denmark earlier in the season, and there he just shows how he can run with the ball and cause problems for defenders. Bosingwa, a decent tackle in the end. I thought it was Mikel originally, but it was Joseph Bosingwa who nipped in there to take the ball off him. Here's the free kick. It's slammed into the wall by Vingard, chested away by Chelsea. Out to the near side, it's picked up now by Oscar Wendt, the Swede. In the right fullback area over the halfway line, and Jesper Gronkia. Gronkia chips it over the top, flicked on by Kvist, into the 6-yard area, away by Branislav Ivanovic, hooked further clear by John Obi Mikel, and then controlled over on the far side by Bergson, and Bergson just nods it back towards his central defender. It's given away by FC Copenhagen, and now picked up on the right-hand side by Ramirez. Ramirez, the Brazilian 23-year-old who's come good in the last few weeks, got stronger and stronger as the season has continued. Started off looking a little bit lightweight, the former Benfica midfielder, but he started to get to grips with the physicality of the Premier League. Here's Ashley Cole, just over the halfway line. Chelsea leading 2-0 on aggregate and 0-0 on the night. Here's Ashley Cole trying to add to that though, breaking down the left-hand side, left-footed drive in towards the side netting, and it bobbles away and out to safety and away for a goal kick away to our left. And Ashley Cole hasn't scored for something like 7.5 years in the Champions League, and that's probably why.
Good play though by Chelsea. FC Copenhagen pretty much surrendered possession just inside their own half. Chelsea moved it from right to left, and then Didier Drogba ran into the left-hand channel, held the ball up, just turned very quickly with the outside of his right foot, played it into the left-hand side of the 18-yard box for the run of Ashley Cole. Cole had a quick look up but couldn't see anybody attacking the edge of the 6-yard box, so tried to beat the keeper at the near post. Never going to happen.
Chelsea playing 4-4-2 again tonight, Stan. Not necessarily sure that they've got to grips with that yet. Ramirez playing on the right-hand side of midfield. He's almost like a narrow right midfielder. You've got Zhirkov playing on the left tonight.
Well, Zhirkov needs a big game sooner or later because, you know, they're starting to spend big again. Fernando Torres, I'm sure that Chelsea will go again come summertime to rejuvenate the squad.
Well,
Yuri Zhirkov, if he's not going to do it, they may as well get rid and try and at least recoup some of that, what was it, 18 million pounds?
Yeah, from CSKA Moscow. Ball out of play on the near side. Dame Ndoye just sort of chasing the ball down into the near post, and it's away for the first corner of the game. It's flicked in from this near side by Gronkia, headed away, and now picked up by Wendt on the halfway line. But he's being chased by Nelka here, and the ball is seen all the way back to the goalkeeper, Johan Vian, and he will then clear from the edge of the D. Ball upfield, no one to capitalise. Chelsea chested away through John Terry and give it away through John Obi Mikel. Vingard now chasing on the far side of the left, being trapped by Bosingwa. The ball is shepherded out of play and away for a Chelsea throw. But there's a couple of times that Chelsea have given the ball away in areas from which Copenhagen can capitalise and cause a few problems.
Well, sometimes Copenhagen are operating as a 3 as well. Vingard coming off that left-hand side, more than happy to join in play with Gronkia. and Ndoye, who we've not really seen that much of yet, but they're quite fluid, and I think that the game will benefit from the fact that
they need to
FC
score goals.
Copenhagen, exactly, they have to go, and certainly no pragmatism involved. Try and create the opportunities and see if Chelsea can counter-attack and put the tie to bed.
It's something that Stella Solbakken was saying in the build-up to this game. It would be stupid to go on the defensive this evening when 2 goals are required. Here's Didier Drogba, 30 yards from goal, getting the ball into his left foot, shooting and calling the Swedish goalkeeper Johan Wieland into the first save of the night, diving away to his right. It wasn't the most ferocious effort from Didier Drogba, but it was a shot on target nonetheless, and it's come after 10 minutes.
Yeah, 10 yards outside of the 18-yard box, just to the right of the D. Teed up the right-footed shot, then just did a little Cruyff turn back onto the left, which obviously he scored plenty of goals from, but certainly not many from 30-35 yards.
Great interception by Ashley Cole, taking it off of the feet of Bolaños. Infield to Mikel to Anelka. The attack just sort of loses momentum momentarily before it's switched out to the far side, the right, where it's picked up by Basingwa, who takes the ball forward, then checks back before trying to take on Vingard, into Ramirez. Ramirez back to Ivanovic. Ivanovic who's under a little bit of pressure from Ndoye, and it's all the way back to Petr Cech, who, when standing next to a couple of those Copenhagen bright pink shirts, looks like something out of an 80s disco, doesn't he, really? It really does look like the Manchester club scene in about 1985. The colours are so vivid. Bright pink and that bright fluorescent yellow goalkeeping jersey from Petr Cech. But the ball is bouncing around in the centre circle after a clearance from FC Copenhagen. John Terry tries to bundle his way through the centre. It's picked up eventually by Cloudemire. Cloudemire infield to Kvist. Kvist out to the far side where it's picked up by Vingard. Does very well to jink him past Ramirez to give it back to his centre-back Antonsen, who's got that buttock problem, but moving freely so far. It's chipped forward by Copenhagen towards the right. Bolaños trying to win the ball in the air, but he's beaten by Cole. Now it's picked up by Zhirkov, who slips it down the left channel, hoping that maybe Didier Drogba will make a run. Across comes Zanka and defends rather stoutly, intercepts and plays it forward and away to safety.
He's not bad, is he, Zanka Jorgensen? Quite mobile, big defender, sort of in the physique of a Curtis Davis or Chris Smalling, that kind of player. His positioning's been very good over the 2 legs. I mean, Nicholas Anelka, give credit in the first leg, just tore them apart with top class movement and 2 really good finishes, but overall Zanka's looked very good in that central defensive position, wearing number 25.
Only 20 years of age, Mathias Zanka Jorgensen. He played against England in the Parken Stadium back in November when they lost by 2-1. He's already a Danish international therefore, and he looks quite composed. Ball is out of play on this near side. Chelsea have it in the left full-back area. We played a little over 12 minutes here on Talksport. 1089, 1053 on the medium wave, and on DAB digital radio as well, and online on our website talksport.co.uk. Remember, tomorrow, right the way through the day, all the latest from Cheltenham. It's a massive day tomorrow, isn't it? St Patrick's Day down at Cheltenham. All sorts going on. Richard Keys and Andy Gray will be there from 10 a.m. in the morning. Rupert Bell will keep you up to date with everything that happens on the course, and commentary on the big race of the day as well.
Well, Chelsea at the moment mixing it between trying to go through the midfield and playing the longer ball just into the channel for the runs of Nicholas Anelka and Didier Drogba. Copenhagen defending quite a high line, so
they did that in the first half as well, didn't they? And
it's worth it, but against 2 real speedsters, and particularly 2 excellent players that run off the ball like Drogba and Anelka, it's a dangerous strategy.
Drogba wins the ball in the air, nods it down into the path of Anelka. Across comes Antonsen and just stoops low before nodding it up to the halfway line. It's in possession of Ndoye now via the Costa Rican winger Bolaños, who's got it again. He jinks in past Ashley Cole, then tries to thread the ball through the centre looking for Ndoye. It's cut out by Ivanovic, and then Ashley Cole just takes the ball along the 18-yard line, brings it away for Chelsea. But there's no real option for him here, and he's stuttering and doesn't really know where to go. He's had to hesitate, gives it to Lampard in the end, who worked a bit of space and brought Chelsea away to safety. Played a decent ball down the right for Basingwa, who runs at the angle of the penalty area before slipping it into Anelka. Anelka's adjudged to have strayed offside as the ball was played to him by the Portuguese, and it's a free kick to FC Copenhagen, but it must have been very, very tight indeed.
It was a fantastic run, wasn't it, by Jose Basingwa. The ball was moved from Chelsea's left-back position inland in their own half to Frank Lampard. He whips a right-footed raking pass over to the right wing, and Basingwa really turned on the turbos and attacked the right side of the 18-yard box. Poor run from Nicholas Anelka. Should always be looking across his line to see who's playing him onside. Just a little bit Too quickly jumped the gun.
It was a tiny fraction of an inch ahead of the last defender. Here he is again, running at Antonsen, getting to the edge of the penalty area. He unleashes a drive, it cannons off of Antonsen, comes back to Lampard. Lampard down the right again, looking for Anelka. Again he's offside, and the flag goes up very quickly, and that's another bit of disappointment for Chelsea. Decent movement.
It was decent movement, and I thought that Yuri Zhirkov, when he was presented with the opportunity 2 or 3 yards outside of the Copenhagen 18-yard box.
He's onside again.
Well, the linesman did put the flag up late. I think there was probably a little bit of pressure from the back four sometimes. Tony Adams used to make an absolute habit of it. You put your arm up, look at the linesman, put a little bit of doubt in his mind.
Well, the linesman's having a torrid over there, because that's twice that Anelka probably should have gone through. And
maybe they should have referred it to the added assistant referee, get them involved in the game a little bit more.
Don't start on that, Stan. We had one make a decision last night.
And he got it right.
Amazing. 16 minutes played at Stamford Bridge in the Champions League. The last 16 game between Chelsea and FC Copenhagen. The right to go into the quarterfinals of Europe's premier knockout competition. It hasn't been the most entertaining fare so far. Chelsea leading 2-0 from the first leg. But it hasn't been drab either, and we thought it might be. Here's Mikel down the left, looking for Cole. Cole approaching the angle of the penalty area. Into Zhirkov. Zhirkov trying to turn past the attentions of Cloudemire, about 5 yards outside the penalty area. It's back to Lampard, who swirls it to the far side. A chance for Basingwa to maybe cross. He approaches the fullback, but then gives up too easily. Gives it to Anelka. Anelka wants to play the return pass down the right towards the Portuguese, but he's under pressure from Ndoye and Vingard, and he's pushed out to the far side, and he has to go all the way back to the halfway line. 0-0 the score. 17 on the clock. Anelka's offside again over on the far side.
Well, that's 3 times in front of the same linesman over on that right-hand side. Just needs to look across the line. I mean, some of the greats. I mean, we saw the movement of Xavier Hernandez last night at Old Trafford. He runs right across the line and then dips in at the last minute. Nicholas Anelka just stood in an offside position, whether or not, if he'd have actually started moving and then dipped his run in at the last minute, that he'd have got away with it. We don't know, but certainly on that occasion he was stood a couple of yards offside.
Copenhagen need 2 goals. At the moment they haven't tested Petr Cech, and we've played 16.5 minutes. The ball is out of play over on the far side, another free kick. It's been a bitty game, hasn't it? Hasn't really got into a tempo. Both teams have looked as if they're willing to attack and willing to go forward.
Well, you can make it as hard for yourself as you possibly can. I mean, in terms of Chelsea keeping the ball, arguably when they are playing with confidence and at their best, they keep the ball as well as anybody. And I think that they need to do that for 10-15 passes, get Copenhagen, particularly the midfielders, running around, trying to close them down, and then fashion opportunities from there.
Here is Ashley Cole, out to the left, and Zhirkov trying to take on Bolaños, cuts infield past the Costa Rica, and then threads it through to Drogba. Drogba in the penalty area, goes past the defender, tries to backheel it into Ashley Cole. Ashley Cole on his right foot slips it towards Zhirkov. Zhirkov tries to poke it towards the far post, it's only narrowly wide. Super movement by Chelsea, excellent work down the left to play the ball into Drogba in the first place by Zhirkov. It was a lovely little backheel by the Ivorian into the path of Ashley Cole, who found Zhirkov perfectly, and on the slide, on the dive, he stabbed his shot just wide of target at the far post.
Top class movement from Didier Drogba. Just runs diagonally right to left into the left hand side of the 6-yard box. Realises he can't get the shot off, so he just a little back heel into the path of Ashley Cole. He won't risk putting it on his right foot, so plays it to Zhirkov. Zhirkov's leant back, he's trying to bend it into the bottom left hand corner of Violent's goal. Agonisingly wide. Good chance for Chelsea.
Lovely little back heel from Didier Drogba in the build-up to that goal. Way to our left, the Copenhagen fans are pretty happy with the way things are going at the moment. Still 0-0. They're jumping up and down.
They're doing a great escape at the moment.
Yeah, with their arms over each other's shoulders. They're really making a big night of it here in London. Here is Ashley Cole looking for Anelka and Drogba down the left channel. They're occupying the same space. Both of them have been beaten to the ball by Oscar Wendt, and it's out of play on the near side and away for a Chelsea throw, level with the edge of the penalty area. Chelsea coming forward now. Lampard retreats, goes back to John Terry, back to Lampard once again. Lampard, Cole, Lampard again, just in front of the halfway line, and then it's all the way back to John Terry, who could well be wearing the armband of England again very shortly.
Well, I wonder if Fabio Capello's here today watching. He was there last night.
Will he speak to anyone
didn't
tonight?
Have the big meeting with Rio Ferdinand.
Ball pumped forward by Petr Cech, aimed towards Didier Drogba, tries to control, fails to do so, and it runs off his toe into the arms of Johan Vian, who is the Swedish goalkeeper for FC Copenhagen. FC Copenhagen 19 points clear at the top of the Danish Premier League, the Superliga. And it must be said that despite the fact that they are by far and away the best team in Denmark, they are still struggling to get to grips with this level of European football. They're probably out of their depth at this level of European football, although they did very, very well in the group stages to get through with a group with Ruben Krassan already in it. Here's Vent towards the far post, tries to cross, out comes Petacek, and it's cleared away.
Oh, good run by Oscar Vent, the right full back, just gets down the right hand side.
He's out of position now, and here come Chelsea trying to exploit that space that he's left behind him. Zhirkov running down the left, he's got Anelka through the centre, it's aimed towards Anelka, makes a lovely run, decent finish, and just about Villian gets a hand on it to nick it past and behind the goal line and away for a corner kick to safety.
Well,
super run.
If Didier Drogba's run from right to left was the best one of the game so far, that superseded it from Nicolas Anelka. Just like a streak of lightning right across right to left of the 18-yard box, and as an attacking midfielder you're looking for somebody to make the run. Yuri Zhirkov just plays the ball into Anelka. He flicks the right foot out as it trying to nutmeg the goalkeeper. Chelsea get the corner.
Lampard takes it, poor corner into the near post, hacked away by Gronkia, and it's out for a throw-in. 0-0 the score on Talksport. Champions League football brought to you by Ford, official sponsors of the Champions League. And of course, remember, Saturday and Sunday we've got Premier League coverage for you. Here's Ashley Cole, 15 yards inside the Chelsea half, back to Terry, and Chelsea's build-up play at times sort of suits this sort of game, doesn't it? You know, counter-attacking. They're very good at doing that, and Nicolas Anelka almost put them ahead there. Here's Didier Drogba trying to swing the ball in towards the centre, looking for the far post, and Nicolas Anelka doesn't reach him, goes behind and away for a goal kick. You just get the idea that, you know, if Stanislav Solbakken is going to push two up front, which he is doing most of the time with Gronkai and Ndiaye, I thought maybe Gronkai would play almost as a withdrawn striker, but he's playing up alongside Ndiaye today, and as a result, you know, they are pushing forward, they are trying to get this goal, but that is always going to leave spaces for Chelsea to exploit, and they love doing that.
Particularly from wide positions. I mean, you just mentioned the run of Oscar Vent. He runs all the way fully 50-60 yards forward into the right wing position, caught completely out, and that's exactly where the run of Nicolas Anelka and the movement of Yuri Zhirkov completely bamboozled the Copenhagen back line, but they have to go for it. So the other way is to sit back, park the bus, fling the ball into the channels occasionally, get Ndiaye to hold it up and have maybe one or two attacking midfielders joining in the play, but they're not going to score sackfuls of goals against the likes of Ivanovic, Terry, John Obi Mikel sitting in front.
Zanka's given the ball away. Mikel's picked it up. He's run diagonally from the centre circle to the left. He's now found Yuri Zhirkov. Zhirkov into Anelka. Anelka out to Drogba. Drogba now tries to take on the fullback. He's got three pink shirts around him. He beats one of them. The ball runs loose. Out comes the goalkeeper and snaffles it up on the edge of the 6-yard area.
You get the feeling if Chelsea get the goal in this good spell, 22, 23 minutes in, that would really destroy the confidence of Copenhagen, and we might end up seeing 2 or 3 Chelsea goals with none in reply. But at the moment, while it's 0-0, they're in the game.
Darme Ndiaye just tries to show his strength and turns past Branislav Ivanovic, pokes the ball upfield towards Gronkia. He loses out to John Terry, and the ball comes out to the near side with Ashley Cole, and maybe a bit of frustration creeping in as Ndiaye fells Cole, and it's a free kick to Chelsea. 0-0 the score, Chelsea 2-0 in front on the night. They're looking to join Spurs, Barcelona, Inter, Manchester United, Schalke and Shakhtar in the quarterfinals of the competition. Here's Nicolas Anelka. Anelka back to Lampard, in between 2 pink shirts, tries to poke it forward towards Anelka. Eventually it's cleared by Vinga, but he's giving it straight back to Chelsea. Pasingwa over on the far side, produces a cross into the centre. Lampard was the intended target. Antonsen read it and smacks it out of play and away for a throw in deep inside the Copenhagen half.
Excellent cross by Jose Pasingwa, dead level with the right hand side of the 18-yard box, just whips it in between the penalty spot and edge of 6-yard box. Lampard was the most advanced Chelsea player.
Here come Chelsea again, another cross into the centre. Is that another offside flag? This time against Didier Drogba. He's not too happy about the decision going against him. I think Chelsea would legitimately be a little bit upset about the 2 offside decisions against Nicolas Anelka, which to me, he was onside. They were goal-scoring opportunities as well, because especially for the first one, Anelka had broken down the right, and there was space for Lampard in the centre. And if he had pulled it back to him, doubtless it was going to be 1-0, and that would have been game over. As it is, it's 2-0, and it probably already is a little bit beyond FC Copenhagen, but if they were to get the first goal tonight, anything can happen. And, you know, as Salah Solbakken was saying, his aim is to make Chelsea just that little bit nervous. They have a decent free kick here after Dame Ndoye was brought down on the edge of the penalty area. John Terry went into him after he eluded Branislav Ivanovic, and it's going to be a free kick about 26, 27 yards from goal. Yeah, 2 or 3 yards outside the 18-yard box. It's dead central though, so if you're looking to get curl and whip over the ball, it's very difficult to do so. Probably the best course of action is just a little touch to the side, maybe somebody coming running onto it hard and low, wall jumps up, comes off somebody's leg, diverts past Peter Cech. Free kick to be taken then in a dead central position. There's a 6-man Chelsea wall. There's Gronkia and I think it's Kvist also in that wall trying to upset things. You've got 3 pink shirts around the ball. One of them is Bolaños. He's left it for Ndoye. Ndoye shoots towards the top corner, hits the post, and it comes off and ricochets out to the edge of the penalty area. A real threat from FC Copenhagen, and that could have been the opening goal. Excellent technique from Dame Ndoye. The right footer, right up and down very quickly, hits the right hand upright, and the Copenhagen fans away to our left have something to cheer. They have a corner at the Matthew Harding end, left-footed in-swinging corner for Copenhagen. Warning shot for Chelsea. Ndoye hits the post with that free kick as the corner comes in towards the near post. Dropper comes across and nods it out of play and away for a second corner in quick succession. 3 on the night for FC Copenhagen, 4 in total for Chelsea and Copenhagen. If you're betting on corners tonight, sportingbet.com for all your in-play odds, the home of in-play betting. Here's the third corner for FC Copenhagen. It's a deeper one this time towards the far post, and Ndoye is putting pressure on Petr Cech, which the referee says is illegal, and it'll be a free kick inside the 6-yard box. But going back to that free kick from Dame Ndoye, got it right up over the wall. Wrong-footed Petr Cech, who was moving to his left. Well, Petr Cech there was a massive gap on the right-hand side. With it being dead central, it's a very difficult skill when the ball is so central to get it up and over with that kind of bend inside the goal, which is obviously why it hit the post. He was really pushing the boundaries there. I would have certainly favoured, when a wall is so close to you, to just a little tap to the side, hit it hard and low, and get a big man like Petr Cech diving down to his left or right. But it certainly was a fantastic effort. Maybe it won't be so simple for Chelsea this evening. 0-0 the score. Chelsea leading by 2-0 on aggregate, 2 away goals. FC Copenhagen will need at least 2 to take it to extra time tonight. Here is Ramirez. Ramirez just right of the centre circle to Mikel. Mikel with Drogba in front of him. Drogba now tries to see it on towards Lampard. Lampard being shepherded by Antonsen. Antonsen just gets in front of the England midfielder and gets it back to his goalkeeper with good strength, and they manage to clear. Chelsea have it back though almost immediately. Anelka over on the far side in the mist and haze of this quite chilly March evening in West London. Chelsea in possession through John Terry. We've played a little over 27 minutes on Talksport. Here's Lampard. Mikel just inside the centre circle trying to take on Kvist. He plays it out to the left and Ashley Cole is waiting for him. Drogba's making a run in the centre if he can spot him. It's chipped forward towards the Ivorian, away by Zanka, further cleared by Oscar Ved, but not with any real conviction. It comes back to Lampard, who's 20 yards from the edge of the penalty area. He looks up, Cole makes a dart down the left, and Mikel is in possession, spots eventually the run of Cole. It was selling him a little bit short from John Obi Mikel. Vent comes in with a tackle, and it's out of play and away for a throw on the near side. I think John Obi Mikel's been a little bit sloppy with his passing so far this evening. Here is Ashley Cole into Zhirkov. Zhirkov with Cole in front of him. Attacking the penalty area on the left-hand side. Here's Lampard now, and he goes all the way back to Ivanovic. And Chelsea just retreat once again. Basingwa. No need to force the issue for Chelsea, of course. They know that the scoreline stays the same, and they go through. Mikel, again, turning under a little bit of pressure from Ndoye, and Kvist is dragged to the floor as he releases his pass for Anelka. The referee pulls it back and gives a free kick in Chelsea's favour, which they take short and quick to Terry from Lampard. And then out to the left, and Zhirkov, who cuts in field on his left foot, pokes it into Anelka inside the penalty area. He's wide of goal. He's back to Drogba. Poor cross by him. Collected on the edge of the penalty area by the captain Kvist, and up towards Dame Ndoye, whose first touch was a little bit heavy, but he retrieves it, takes it out wide, looking for Vingard, who switched wings from left to right. Infield to Ndoye, and now it's picked up by Bengston. Over the halfway line, picked up to Bolaños with his shirt untucked and wearing a long sleeve fluorescent pink Copenhagen shirt tonight. Infield to
Gronkia trying to take on Bisingwa just shows him on the outside, and then on the inside the cross comes in from Gronkia, but it's easily cleared away by Chelsea and picked up in midfield by William Quist down the right. The fair hair of Oscar Wendt, and it's all the way back to the halfway line, and that attack from FC Copenhagen peters out. So we've played half an hour. What have you learned?
Well, I think the tempo's been very good. No problems with the tempo. I just think that, Copenhagen obviously are not going to go on and win the tournament. They're game enough. They're trying to have a go, getting the ball into good wide positions. The full-backs are bombing on. I think Chelsea just need to be a little bit more clinical. I think that their work down the left-hand side has been much, much better than down the right. Some really good movement right to left from Anelka and Didier Drogba. Good link-up play with Yuri Zhirkov. I think that Chelsea just need to get that first goal, settle down a little bbit, maybe get into 60-65 minutes, make one or two changes.
The ball is delivered into the box by Bolaños. It's aimed towards Ndoye. It's collected in the end by Cech. He had a little bit of a fumble as it came through. He bowls it out to Ashley Cole. You're talking about the difference between Chelsea's left and right. I mean, Chelsea on the left-hand side have got a natural left-footer in Yuri Zhirkov playing wide in midfield, supported well by Ashley Cole, who loves to attack as a fullback. On the far side, you've got Jose Bisingwa, who's still not fully fit and coming back from injury, alongside Ramirez, who likes to come in field all the time, so it's very difficult.
It certainly affects the balance of the team, but I certainly think that with Nicolas Anelka and with Didier Drogba, they look happier running right to left than left to right, if that makes sense. Most of Chelsea's good play has happened between the left-hand corner of the 18-yard box and left-hand corner of the 6-yard box.
And of course, if Copenhagen were wise, they'd try to nullify the threat from that left-hand side, and of course that may well end up ruining the supply line. Here is Ivanovic just approaching the centre circle, looks up, chips the ball to the left, looking for Anelka in the yellow boots, chests it down and runs with the ball at his feet, takes on the fullback, comes on the inside, right-footed shot, takes a deflection, goes out of play and away for the second Chelsea corner of the evening. It was a decent run by Nicolas Anelka, but it did lack a little bit of end product, and the very fact that he was shooting from that sort of angle, from the quarter angle of the penalty area, showed that there wasn't too many options on.
Didier Drogba stands in front of the goalkeeper, Nicolas Anelka on the edge of the 6-yard box. Terry, Ivanovic, John Obi Mikel.
Zhirkov into the near post. Mikel rises, it flicks off his head and glances really across the edge of the 6-yard box and out of play over on the far side. He's not the kind of person you want in and around the penalty area in those sort of situations. He's never scored for Chelsea, John Obi Mikel, and he needed a real forceful header from that corner kick in order to get any real action from the goalkeeper Johan Viand, who now has the ball in his hand over on the left-hand side. Chelsea with 7 shots already in the game, but nothing really to write home about, apart from the excellent run from Nicolas Anelka, which produced a very good save by the goalkeeper. He dived down to his left and it cut the inside of his hand and went behind him, and then eventually out for a corner after what was a marvellous piece of football from Chelsea and a wonderful run from right to left by Nicolas Anelka, who's run in this competition. His goal scoring in this competition has been superb, and here he is again going through the centre on the right hand side into the channel. He's running into the box, he cuts back in field onto his left foot, slips it across for Yuri Zhirkov, and he should have tapped in from 5 yards. Instead he stabbed it wide. A real good chance for Chelsea. Anelka's running down the right into that channel where he caused so many problems in the first leg of this game. Opened up the Copenhagen defence. He saw the run of the Russian through the centre. He found him beautifully after checking it back onto his left foot, but the Russian couldn't find the net.
Well, that's exactly where you want Frank Lampard rather than Yuri Zhirkov. Good improvisation by Didier Drogba just inside the Copenhagen half. Just lifts it over the central defenders. Wonderful run by Nicolas Anelka. He thought he was going to maybe pull the trigger with a volley or half volley across Weiland's right hand, but waited for the cavalry to come, and that came in the form of Yuri Zhirkov. Maybe a little bit too quick for him, couldn't adjust his feet quickly enough. Opportunity missed.
0-0 the score on Talksport with Ford, the official sponsors of the Champions League. Chelsea looking to go through to the quarter-finals of the Champions League. They need to ensure that they don't concede 2 goals in order to do that tonight. It looks inevitable. Here's Mikel sweeping the ball from the centre circle out to the right, looking for Anelka. Across comes Bengtsson, clears, but only as far as Mikel. Zhirkov's got it now, he flicks it up into the air. He's hoping to find Frank Lampard, but it's cut out by Vingard, and Vingard takes it over the halfway line. Gronkia stabs it back to Vingard, takes a deflection on the way through, goes out of play, and it's juggled by Carlo Ancelotti on the near side. Let's go down to the touchline and see if we can hear from the Moose, who's with us tonight. He's sitting right behind the dugouts as Carlo Ancelotti looks animated,
Well, he's not looked very happy actually on a couple of occasions, especially when Yuri Zhirkov stabbed that one wide. I have to say that it says on my official sheet here that it's 9 degrees and the humidity is 76%, and yet he's wrapped up quite tightly tonight, old Carlo Ancelotti, in a big black coat, and he's wearing gloves as well. I don't think it's that cold, but then I am a little bit more insulated than you and Carlo Ancelotti, Sam.
Moose, we want a match report, not a sartorial elegance catwalk.
What he could have done, he could have given you a review of the food before the game. He was diving in. Ball on the near side, and it's Vingard who goes down.
It's a nice coat though. I've just had a peek over. It's a very nice coat. Italian, 3/4 length. That's his raincoat, isn't it? I've got to say about both central midfields. I think that Chelsea at the moment, with John Obi Mikel and Frank Lampard, have been a little bit one-paced. They haven't really drove forward down that middle strip of the pitch. They're up against two players, Cloudermere and Kvist. Kvist, the Danish Player of the Year, who's neat and tidy, but nothing more than that. Would expected more from Lampard in particular.
Here is John Terry just trying to deal with Dame and Doy. He lays it back to Petr Cech, who's got a bit of work to do. He swirls it away with his left boot, collected by Vent. He's miscontrolled it and allowed Anelka to bring it away. Chipped over the top for Lampard to chase. Zanka hammers it into the Chelsea half, and it's straight out of play and away for a goal kick away to our right. I mean, you're not going to expect too much guile and invention from Copenhagen. I mean, they are the best team in Denmark. But
well, you should be from Chelsea in the central midfield areas.
Exactly.
I mean, Frank Lampard's played 80-odd games in, European football. John Obi Mikel is an international of quite a few years now, so, that's an area that maybe Chelsea, when they're looking with big games to come against Manchester City, that may go with Yaya Toure, Barry, De Jong. They're at the moment against the side with less capabilities than Manchester City. They may well struggle come Sunday.
Well, they are looking forward to getting Yossi Benayoun back to some full fitness. I know he's working outside at the moment and trying to get back before the end of the season. Interesting today that he was called up by Israel for international duty without really getting into full-pace training with Chelsea. Here is Cloudermere, who's very creative on the ball and he's very comfortable with it at his feet. Flicks it back to Zanka. Zanka sprays it out to the far side of the left, and Bengston into Cloudermere once again, finds Ndoye, gets it back to Cloudermere. He runs into a bit of traffic in the shape of the Russian Zhirkov, and it's all the way back to the goalkeeper Petr Cech, who then just clips it upfield looking for Anelka. Anelka is beaten in the air by Antonsen despite that buttock injury. And Bengston now takes it away from the left fullback position. Across comes Gronkia, feeds the Costa Rican, Bolaños. Bolaños tries to bundle the ball away from Mikel. Beaten to it by the Nigerian. Chelsea have it back on the halfway line. Here's Ashley Cole. Cole into Drogba. Drogba ambles towards the angle of the penalty area. Zhirkov makes a run. To the right of him is Lampard. Lampard now in the dead centre of the pitch. Plays it out to the wide right position, and Anelka to Basingwa. Basingwa's got Ramirez in support if he needs him. Anelka goes on the push on the outside. It's clipped in towards Didier Drogba, who heads it towards goal. It comes off of Zanka, and it's there was a few claims for handball. However, I think they were half-hearted appeals really, and eventually it's cleared away by FC Copenhagen. But the idea was right for Didier Drogba. As that ball came in, Drogba rose and he tried to just nod it into the path of Frank Lampard. I think it just came off the top of the shoulder of Zanka to prevent it going through to the England midfielder.
It was good movement, because as the ball comes from the right-hand side as a centre forward, you're aware that the central defender is going to get drawn towards the ball. So if you just step off him a yard, just a little nod down, like you say, it caught his shoulder. A question about Frank Lampard, and he's obviously been a difficult season, a season where he's had his injury problems, and for me, I've never seen him. We know that midfielders play across the midfield, 1 and 2 touch, but I've never seen him so risk averse tonight.
Oh, here's Bolaños down the left hand side, producing a cross into the centre. A flying header away by John Terry, picked up on the right hand edge of the penalty area by Nicolas Anelka, who sprints over the halfway line and canters into the Copenhagen half. He's in the right wing position now. Lampard joins it up with the attack into the centre of the penalty area. Drogba is there as well, but it's a low cross into the near post in the end by Nicolas Anelka, and that really wasn't going to ever amount to it very much at all. Real Madrid lead Lyon by a 1-0 in the Bernabeu tonight. Marcelo with the goal in the Bernabeu, and that'll give Jose Mourinho a little bit more to smile about. At the moment, it is they who will be going through to the next round of the competition. They've really struggled at this stage of the competition, Real Madrid. The last 6 seasons in succession they've gone out at this stage. Maybe they all change tonight. Down the right comes Basingwa for Chelsea, looking to go through to the quarter-finals. We've got 6 minutes before half-time. Here's Mikel into the penalty area, miscontrols, and allows Antonsen to come across and hack clear. Eventually it's picked up just right of the centre circle by Ramirez. He just sort of clatters it forward, looks for Drogba controls with his arm, and it's a free kick to Copenhagen. And Chelsea have been... well, they've just laboured a little bit, haven't they? Especially when in and around the penalty area.
I think that they know, bar the free kick, really, that FC Copenhagen haven't provided too much of a threat. And that can...
Is it difficult to get yourself up for a game when
well,
you know
of course
there's
it is.
hardly
I mean,
any chance
absolutely,
of you going out?
and there will be 1 or 2 players that will have Sunday's game against Manchester City on their mind. They've still got to play Manchester United, technically in with a chance of retaining their title. But I think that when you come up against a side and you've done the bulk of the hard work, don't forget it's 2 away goals that they've got in their favour, it's always going to blunt your tools a little bit. And I think that certainly tonight, that if this was a game on the knife edge, perhaps 0-0, 1-0 to Copenhagen, Chelsea would have already scored 2 goals. They just haven't been clinical enough.
Cloudermere on the edge of the penalty area, plays the ball out towards the left-hand side. It's back to Gronkia to Vingard, tries to play a 1-2. They haven't got the quality to pull it off, and it goes straight out of play and away for a goal kick away to our right. So we've got 5 minutes before half-time, and it's still 0-0.
Frank Lampard.
Yeah.
The season he's had, it's been a difficult one with injury.
Yeah, it has.
But I've never seen in a game today whereby sometimes he passes it sideways, sometimes he passes it backwards, but more often than not he'll look to play off the striker and then go and have a shot, which adds usually to his 20 goals a season.
Yep.
Hasn't done that at all tonight.
You know, slightly different role for Frank Lampard though, isn't it, in this 4-4-2. He's used to playing in a 3-man midfield, in which he's the most aggressive
If he's a top
member.
quality midfielder, he should be able to get back and slide tackle on the edge of his own box and run fully 60 yards the other direction and get a shot on target, if he's a top quality midfielder.
It's coming to the latter part of his career as well. He's also been talking in the build up to a number of big games so far this season about the way he has to be a little bit more intelligent about how he makes his runs, not dart all over the place just for the sake of it, make sure he uses his energy in the right places. Says he's become a more intelligent footballer in the latter part of his career. Here's Dame Ndoye on the left-hand side, lurking with intent for FC Copenhagen. Tries to play an ambitious ball out to the near side, the right, and he miscontrols it and gives it straight to Zhirkov, who then plays in Didier Drogba, who goes on the counter-attack, runs down the left channel, produces a cross. It's a poor one, and it's out of play over on the far side and away for a throw. And it was an absolute waste from Didier Drogba, because he managed to capitalise, got Chelsea on the front foot after a mistake by Ndoye at the other end of the field. Chelsea burst at pace with 3 players inside the penalty area, and he didn't pick any of them out.
Well, at least the 6th or 7th time that either Didier Drogba or Nicolas Anelka have run into that left channel, with the right full-back Oscar Wendt completely vacating his position. And all he needs to do is just to shape it hard and low along the ground, in between penalty spot and 6-yard box, and somebody gets an easy tap in, but completely overcooked the cross. Almost went out for a throw in the other end.
Here's Oscar Wendt. He looks a little bit like the former Chelsea player Mika Forsell. Given away again by FC Copenhagen, and then pumped forward towards Didier Drogba. He can't control, and it's through to the goalkeeper, Johan Wieland. Well, it's still goalless, and Chelsea, who, if you've just joined us, left out Fernando Torres tonight, also left out Michael Essien and Florent Malouda from their starting lineup. That maybe Carlo Ancelotti has got one eye on Manchester City at the weekend. Maybe he just felt that Torres just needed a bit of time out of the limelight. Maybe he'll come on in the second half or the latter stages of the game and try and get his first goal for Chelsea since his £50 million move from Liverpool. Ball played down the right. A chance for Anelka to try and outpace the defence. Across comes the defender Bengston, and he just sort of dives on top of the ball and helps it back somewhat in an unorthodox fashion to his goalkeeper, and just sandwiches himself in between Drogba and Anelka and the ball, and prevents Nicolas Anelka from adding to his already admirable Champions League tally.
It was just a ball played into the right-hand channel, lofted, wasn't it? And Nicolas Anelka was looking to bully Bengtson out the way, but to be fair, the Copenhagen left full-back did very well, kept his nerve, saw it all the way through to the goalkeeper on the edge of his 18-yard box.
Vingard into Ndoye. Ndoye takes the ball away from John Obi Mikel. There was a little bit of a tugging back going on just before he released that pass, and the referee has pulled it back for a free kick about 15-20 yards outside the penalty area on the right hand side. There's a chance for them to try and cultivate something just before the break. We've got about a minute and a half before the conclusion of this first 45, and Vingard is standing over it. Ndoye has moved up into the penalty area. Gronke is there as well. So is Bergston and Antonsen. It's aimed in towards the penalty spot. It's cleared away by Drogba, who was sort of stooped and hunched as he managed to volley the ball away with his instep, and it's over the halfway line. And once again, that move breaks down.
It was a real opportunity for Copenhagen. They're only like 10 yards outside of the Chelsea 18-yard box with that free kick to the right-hand side. If they get that anywhere near head height, the 6 players that had made the journey up the pitch to get involved would have at least had something to get the end of.
Ivanovic plays the ball through the centre looking for Anelka. Anelka is caught a little bit. The ball bounces back to Lampard, and Lampard to Drogba. Drogba with a sort of clipped effort towards the far post, but it had no real pace or venom in it, and it was easy for the goalkeeper in the end. But Ivanovic made a striding run from centre half, went through the centre circle, spotted Nicolas Anelka running down the left channel, slipped it through to him, and there was a little bit of a collision between Nicolas Anelka and the defender as the ball went through the centre, which is a little bit late by the defender. And then there's another collision now inside the centre circle, which has caused some consternation between Didier Drogba and I think it's Cloudemire who's gone down, and the referee's got a little bit of sorting out to do, Sven Odvar Moen.
Well, to be fair to Didier Drogba, it's virtually by the centre spot. Just went over to the referee in the congregated huddle of 5 or 6 pink shirts that were remonstrating to the referee, and he did want to defuse the situation. Hasn't always done that, has he, Didier Drogba?
Well, there's a particular Norwegian referee who knows that Didier Drogba has got a fiery temper. And boy, didn't he pay for that. I think, in fact, it was like 3 Champions League campaigns in a row where Didier Drogba had to be missing for the first couple of fixtures because of his indiscipline. Here is Vingard, just over the halfway line for FC Copenhagen, who need 2 goals to stay in the Champions League and take this tie to extra time. Otherwise, Chelsea are going through to the quarter-finals. We've had 1 minute of added time at the end of the first half. Not the best first half we'll ever see, but there were a couple of decent efforts. Chelsea probably will feel they should have been in front. Nicolas Anelka and Yuri Zhirkov having the best of the efforts for them. But FC Copenhagen fired a warning shot over the bows when Darmé Ndoye hit a free kick from 20 yards over the wall and smacking the post with Petacek's feet firmly planted.
Yeah, like I say, if this was 0-0 or Chelsea trailing after the first leg with the chances that they had, I think that they would have had their mind on being a little bit more clinical in front of goal. But as it was that Ndoye free kick, dead central, couple of yards outside the 18-yard box, which cannoned off Petacek's right-hand post. But it's been decent from Chelsea. I don't think there's been any problem with tempo or desire, passion, professionalism. Just haven't been clinical enough in front of goal yet.
Well, Chelsea's Champions League pedigree is there for all to see. 5 of the last 7 seasons have seen them go through to the semi-finals of this competition, and barring some sort of miracle tonight, they'll be one step closer to that again this evening. At the break, it's Chelsea 0, FC Copenhagen 0, but 2-0 to Chelsea on aggregate.
Thank you very much, Stan, and thank you very much, Sam. Of course, always a lovely spectacle, these full grounds on European nights, and I'll talk to Stan about this later on. Absolutely brilliant to watch the way the FC Copenhagen fans have tried to lift their team, but on the pitch, as Sam and Stan have just outlined to you, pretty much business as usual as Chelsea tiptoe their way rather gingerly so far towards that last 8 draw on Friday, which of course you'll hear at about 10:30, 11 o'clock in the morning right here on Talksport, where you're listening to kick off with Ford, official sponsors of the UEFA Champions League.
UEFA Champions League football live on Talksport with Ford, official vehicle supplier to the UEFA Champions League since 1992.
5 times FIFA World Cup winners Brazil are coming back to London, and this time they're taking on Scotland at the Emirates on Sunday the 27th of March. In España 82, it was Zico and Socrates. In France 98, it was Ronaldo and Rivaldo. Now don't miss your chance of seeing the most iconic team in the world take on Scotland's finest at the Emirates Stadium on Sunday the 27th of March. To buy tickets, go to arsenal.com/tickets or call 0844 277 3625.
Wonga, 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 wonga. When you need to borrow to get you through tomorrow, visit wonga.com today. With our sliding calculator, nothing could be straighter. You see exactly what you'll pay. So if cash flow is an issue, just choose a loan that fits you. Borrowing the new Wonga way.
If you're looking for a bit of cash to tide you over, just visit wonga.com today for a short-term loan you control. Terms and conditions apply.
Wonga.com.
VCAT Schnapps. VCAT Schnapps. Perfect mixed with cola. Perfect mixed with friends. VCAT Schnapps. Made to mix. See vcatschnaps.com. Please drink responsibly.
Listen up, lads. Today, I scored a hole-in-one.
That's nothing. I am dating Miss Argentina.
Yeah. That's all fine and everything. But last weekend, I caught a fish so big, it went from here to over here.
Gentlemen, let's start being honest. The truth is, 1 in 9 of us experience bladder weakness. But that's why there's Tenor Men, designed specifically to be discreet and to fit the male physique. It's hard to be honest about it, but it can be easily helped. Request your free sample at tenormen.co.uk/radio.
If you leave a chip and your windscreen cracks, you'll need to replace it, costing you time and money. Call the experts to get that chip repaired. Autoglass is the UK's largest vehicle glass specialist, and a repair is usually free if you're fully comp.
Call Autoglass on 0800 234 234 or visit autoglass.co.uk.
Autoglass repair, Autoglass replace.
Live UEFA Champions League football on Talksport with Ford, founding sponsor of the UEFA Champions League.
On DAB digital radio and 1089 and 1053 AM. Kick off Champions League live on Talksport.
Jerkov tries to take on Bolaños, cuts infield past the Costa Rican, then threads it through to Drogba. Drogba in the penalty area, goes past the defender, tries to backheel it into Ashley Cole. Ashley Cole on his right foot slips it towards Jerkov. Jerkov tries to poke it towards the far post, it's only narrowly wide. Jerkov running down the left, he's got Anelka through the centre, it's aimed towards Anelka, makes a lovely run, decent finish, and just about Villian gets a hand on it to nick it past and behind the goal line and away for a corner kick to safety. Free kick to be taken then in a dead central position. There's a 6-man Chelsea wall, 3 pink shirts around the ball. One of them is Bolaños, he's left it for Ndoye. Ndoye shoots towards the top corner, hits the post, and it comes off and ricochets out to the edge of the penalty area. A real threat from FC Copenhagen, and that could have been the opening goal. Anelka going through the centre on the right hand side into the channel. He's running into the box. He cuts back in field onto his left foot, slips it across for Yuri Zhirkov, and he should have tapped in from 5 yards. Instead, he stabbed it wide.
Yeah, well, more about that game in just a second. Let me give you an update on all the scores in England, Scotland and around Europe. Not so many games for me to talk about tonight, but let me just, of course, here at Stamford Bridge, it's Chelsea 0, Copenhagen 0. Chelsea still those 2 goals, those away goals in Denmark ahead in the tie. In Madrid, it's Real Madrid 1, Lyon 0. That puts Madrid 2-1 up in the tie overall. In the Scottish Premier, it's Dundee United 0, Hearts 0. In the Scottish Cup quarter-final, Inverness Caledonian Thistle 1, Celtic 1. And in the Scottish Cup quarter-final replay, Aberdeen 2, St Mirren 0. Of course, you're listening to your second successive night of Champions League commentary here on Talksport, and the commentaries just keep on coming. On Saturday, Stan and the gang, Everton against Fulham, and on Sunday, our game's the game at Sunderland when they take on revitalised Liverpool. Stan Collymore watching here as the grounds people do their thing and the fans do their best to entertain themselves. I suppose business as usual, you would say, but in the way that Chelsea played, a good job that they're not needing to get a goal.
Yeah, I mean, I think that they've dominated the final third, the attacking final third. I think that if it was 0-0, Chelsea would be 1 or 2-0 up now. There'd have been that little bit more focus, that little bit more switched on to make sure that players were getting in the box to arrive to some of the crosses. I mean, Didier Drogba and Nicolas Anelka, if you took all the graphs and the charts that you see on many websites now, between the left-hand corner of the 18-yard box and left-hand corner of the 6-yard box, if you just put a big rectangle in there, that's where all the damage has been done. But when they've been getting into those positions, and they've either been pulling the ball back to somebody, Ashley Cole, Yuri Zhirkov, or clear to be able to whip the ball across, either nobody's been there or Chelsea have been wasteful.
Yeah, I mean, it's very hard because the Copenhagen players are not up to the standards. Wenck, the right back here, I think he's left-footed looking at him, and his position, he's always overcompensating for being on the wrong foot, and that's causing a space for the Chelsea players to get into. Carlo Ancelotti would say, though, in a training exercise, you would expect those pullbacks from the 2 forwards who've made the good runs to produce more end product than they have so far.
Well, Zhirkov on 2 occasions. I think Ashley Cole pulled the ball onto his left foot, then onto his right foot. He wasn't going to swing it just outside of the 6-yard box. He passes it to Yuri Zhirkov. He puts one to the side of the post, the other one into the goalkeeper's hands. I mean, it may well be that as we get into the second half, I mean, talk about it every single match day on Talksport about getting to 65 minutes, freshening things up and taking the momentum there. Florian Malouda can always come on down this left-hand side for Zhirkov. He has got an eye for goals, certainly if the beginning of the season is anything to go by. Solomon Kalou over on the right-hand side, perhaps for Ramirez. And Fernando Torres, of course, can come on for either Anelka or Drogba. They don't need to force the issue. Absolutely. They did the damage with a wonderful performance in Copenhagen. So for that reason, we'll
give them the benefit of the doubt.
Exactly.
Absolutely right. We'll talk about Copenhagen in just a second. I also were interested in your comments about the Chelsea midfield four. Now, this is an unfamiliar system. They're still trying to get used to it after, really, let's be fair, the best part of a decade now of playing with a variety of diamonds or three. And Frank Lampard and John Obi Mikel, maybe not in the modern game, not exactly suited to the two in midfield. I know what you're going to say, if they were good players, if they were good enough, they'd be doing it.
I honestly believe
they're a little
that.
bit still, aren't they? They're not quite dynamic as you need.
I think that John Obi Mikel, I mean, you and I have had conversations on this for the past 3 years on kick-off about a midfielder is a midfielder.
He's a midfielder,
Somebody who can go and tackle on the edge of his own box. 20 seconds later, when the ball's at the other end of the pitch, he's scoring the winning goal with a tap-in. If you sink into players' heads that they are a defensive midfielder, therefore they can only patrol 20 yards in front of central defenders, that's what they'll do, and that's what John Obi Mikel's doing. He's always looking to get it and to give it with his first pass. Well, I could do that job quite comfortably now and not get into any trouble, get out of dodge, pass it, get out of dodge. But in terms of Frank Lampard, he's one of the Premier League big-name players.
He's a marquee name.
He consistently has scored 20 goals a season. So I don't know whether it's still lacking a little bit of sharpness or a little bit of fitness, but he's getting it. And I've noticed it, 70 to 80 to 90% of his passing has either gone backwards or sideways. He hasn't looked to play it off Didier Drogba, go and follow his pass, and then get a shot on target. And that was what made Frank Lampard from very good to special.
And I guess before the Chelsea fans start ringing up, and don't forget you can talk to myself and stand till 11 o'clock tonight. Before the Chelsea fans start ringing up, of course we do recognise there are very few clubs in world football who wouldn't miss Michael Essien, who's not in the team today. Looking at Copenhagen, Stan, exactly as we expected, not without courage, well organised, but really finding it very, very hard to get the ball into the real danger areas for Chelsea. The centre forward, who's a big strong lad, he wants to come back towards the play, and really he needs to try and threaten him behind the Chelsea defenders. He's very good, he comes back, he controls it, but instead of then turning or trying to play a forward pass, he's very happy with the Hollywood ball 30 or 40 yards out to the wingers.
I think the Bengtsson, the left fullback's done okay. The two centre halves, Antonsen, in particular Zanka that wears 25, looks good. Bent has gone forward, but like you say, suffers for the fact there is a left footer playing at right fullback, and he's getting caught going back the way. In midfield, we've really seen nothing of Cloudemire and Kvist. Kvist is what's Frank Lampard's doing tonight? Get it, give it to somebody else. Bolaños, the Costa Rican, is playing on the right-hand side, but left-footed. He usually cuts in and tries to get shots on target. Hasn't done that. Jesper Bronco is getting on in age now. At least he's game enough trying to run into the positions. But I think the two real threats have come from Vingegaard, that at least has tried to get on the ball, free kicks, corners, set pieces, and try and influence play. And Ndoye, that obviously had that fantastic free kick that thundered off the right hand upright.
That shows that we can stand here all night saying how comfortable it is and how it's business as usual for Chelsea. It only takes one free kick like that to go in, and suddenly it'll be a much more nervous time. Let me talk about whether, as I say, you have to be honest and say that the prize here is not form, is not seeing Chelsea try out a new system. The prize is a place in the quarter-final of the Champions League. But having said that, will Carlo Ancelotti be happy with the intensity, with the pattern of Chelsea's play?
I think so, overall. I think he'll just say with the Chelsea backroom staff, be a little bit more clinical. Because if they'd gone up 2-0 at half-time, which were the chances that they had, or certainly the opportunities that they had, mostly half chances, but good ones nonetheless, then he's in a position to be able to bring on people like Josh McCreeker and even give Anelka or Drogba or one or two other players a bit of a rest with big game on Sunday against Manchester City. But they haven't done that, but they're still 2-0 up. I mean, it's going to take an absolute gargantuan effort from Copenhagen, and something that I haven't seen, which is that X factor if they're going to pull 2 goals back. So far so good.
Sam said in commentary that and I think you commented as well that they're resting these players because there's a possibility of them still defending their title, and of course mathematically that's entirely true. But the size of the game against Manchester City, of course, is reflected in the fact that neither of these sides are quite sure yet that they're going to qualify in those top 4 places for the Champions League. And of course, we've seen again and again and again that finishing 4th is a problem in itself, because you cannot guarantee a simple route into the competition proper through those playoffs, as Tottenham made such tremendously hard work of it this season.
And I think that the game on Sunday will be about physical prowess. It'll be about organisation, and it'll be a mistake, perhaps a free kick, a corner, a set piece, because they've both. I mean, in the midfield there, if you're looking at SEN, John Obi Mikel, Frank Lampard up against De Jong, Barry and Yaya Toure, you're talking virtually all 6-footers, all physically very capable, same with the central defenders. So I think that Carlo Ancelotti, looking forward to Sunday's game, is thinking not only is it going to be a threat in terms of who's going to finish in the top 4, but a real physical 90-94 minutes.
I mean, they've done well, the front two for Chelsea. You say they've made chances, they've found the gaps between the Copenhagen defenders. Suppose they got a couple of goals in this half. Do you think there'll be any pressure on Ancelotti to pick Torres for the league game at the weekend, or is he at the moment still sacrosanct that he have to play?
Do you know what? I don't think he has to play. I think that it's been made clear either to the owner, if it was the owner that says, here's a gift, Carlo, take it, there's £50 million worth of strike you can have. I think they're probably doing a lot of work behind the scenes with Fernando Torres, getting him sharp, getting him up to speed. He virtually missed a pre-season, didn't he? And he hasn't been on form with Liverpool. That's the problem. You're always told by many managers, you can't turn it on and off like a tap. So even if he was sulking, thinking, I want to go to Chelsea, I want this move to happen, and labouring at Liverpool, then he has to get his mojo back, and he does that by doing the work on the training ground, lots of shooting drills, getting involved in training, getting fitter. Well,
the licorice all sorts are back on the pitch, yellow and orange in the case of the Copenhagen team, a yellow and black in the case of Peter Cech. The officials have done the net stretching and all the rest of it, ready for the second half of this last 16 of the Champions League game. Let's get back now to our match commentator, Sam Matterface.
Well, there was a little bit of lethargy about Chelsea in the first half, a lack of a cutting edge, which is why the scoreline still reads Chelsea 0, FC Copenhagen 0. And there was a big scare when after 26 minutes, Dame Ndoye, the Senegalese striker who alongside Cesar Santine has scored 26 of the 51 goals that FC Copenhagen have managed to notch in the Superliga so far this campaign, saw his free kick get over the wall. Petr Cech was stranded and smacked the inside of the post, and if he had have scored that, boy, would we have been in for a nervy 20 minutes or so. As it is, FC Copenhagen still need 2 goals to ensure the game goes to extra time, otherwise Chelsea will be going through to the quarterfinals of the competition. We are off and underway in the second half. Chelsea shooting from left to right in this second 45 towards the Matthew Harding end, the end they love to play against in the second half of games, in blue shirts with white trim and white socks. FC Copenhagen in those very, very bright cerise pink fluorescent outfits with black shorts and black socks, shooting towards their supporters who have been lively and energetic in the first half, really making an evening of their time in London. They have a throw-in, the visitors, from Denmark on the near side. It's taken by Cloudermere. It's launched in towards the edge of the penalty area. It was quite a long throw from Cloudermere. It wasn't like an Exocet missile as delivered by Rory Delap, but it was quite effective. It was quickly caught by Petr Cech. He bowled it out to the near side to try and put Chelsea on the offensive. However, it was missed by Nicolas Anelka and through to the goalkeeper away to our right. What would Carlo Ancelotti have been saying to his team about the way they should approach the second half?
Keep the tempo high, keep Ashley Cole bombing down that left-hand side, get Yuri Zhirkov playing those little balls the outside of his left foot into the channel for Nicolas Anelka and Didier Drogba, and when you get into the final third, be more clinical. If they get a goal, it's truly over, and they'll have the luxury of being able to make 1, 2, maybe even 3 changes to senior personnel ahead of a big game against Manchester City at the weekend. So keep the ball. When you get into the final third, up the tempo, finish them off.
Well, Chelsea with Cech in goal, Ivanovic as centre half alongside John Terry tonight. Here is Nicolas Anelka bursting through towards the edge of the box. Oh, he's pulled it back behind Frank Lampard, and it's easily cleared in the end by Antonsen. I'll just run down the 2-11s for you as soon as I get a moment. Here is Ramirez on the top of the centre circle, works it out to the wide right position. A chance for Basingwa to deliver into the box. Jackberry's there, he catches it on the volley, but he skews it wide. How did he miss that? That was typical Didier Drogba. A perfect cross from Jose Basingwa down the right hand side. He picked out Didier Drogba, who was lurking within 10 on the penalty spot. He got ahead of his defender, he caught the volley, but he steered it wide.
Excellent ball from Jose Basingwa. didn't need to go down the right-hand side of the 18-yard box just a little bit before and just bent it in between the edge of the 18-yard box and penalty spot, exactly where Didier Drogba would have liked it. That's the point I was trying to make about if this was 0-0 or they were trailing going into this tie. Drogba finishes that one because he realises the importance of it. I think that they've been a little bit wasteful so far.
Here is Yuri Zhirkov over the halfway line, into the left channel, looks for Ashley Cole. He heels it towards the England defender, and that just takes the sting out of the attack. Comes back to Zhirkov, lifts it over the top, looking for Cole to continue his run. Lampard is putting pressure on the defender as well. Zanka goes down inside the 6-yard area. Referee gives a free kick in Copenhagen's favour. Well, it was a decent chip over the top by Yuri Zhirkov, but I think Cole and Lampard got in each other's way, really. No one really took charge of the situation, and in the end Lampard sort of tried to force the issue, bounced into the defender, gave away a free kick, and another chance goes begging. It's still 0-0. Elsewhere tonight, Real Madrid are doing pretty well in the Santiago Bernabeu. They're going through at the moment. Jose Mourinho, who was bought in to try and advance their progress in the Champions League, looks to be doing the job that he was hired to do. Doesn't he always? Here's Jose Bosingwa over the halfway line, 5 or 6 yards into the opposition half. It's thrown into Mikel. Mikel to Bosingwa. Mikel once again across the halfway line to Lampard, who shows good feet to get it away from Ndoye and Kvist. Forward down the right looking for Anelka, headed away by the defender Bengtsson, and then it's given away to Bosingwa, who's strayed into the heart of the midfield. Drogba on the edge of the centre circle inside the Copenhagen half, gets the ball, there's a bit of a scramble. Lampard's got it now, stabs it back into Ramirez, who with the outside of his foot steers the ball into the path of Zhirkov. Zhirkov now approaching the penalty area, back to Ramirez, right-footed shot from Ramirez. It was going towards the far corner of the net, but there wasn't enough pace on the ball, and the goalkeeper was allowed to drop down to his left and collect it safely.
Well, at least good that Ramirez gets involved in play, virtually anonymous in the first half. Like you say, plays very narrow. He's on the right-hand side. You'd think, even though he's left-footed, that he'd sometimes just take the ball towards the right wing and get involved.
Here's Nicolas Anelka, flick on by Drogba, runs to the angle of the penalty area, tracks back onto his left foot, then past one defender again and tries to bend the shot into the corner. Across comes Bengtsson, blocks it and ricochets out to the near side. Still Anelka has it, tries to steer it into the box. Bengtsson gets a touch on it, and it's out of play and away for the third corner of the night for Chelsea.
Completely out-sprinted. The central defender, really good ball played through, gets to the edge of the 18-yard box, just to the right of the D, Nicolas Anelka. You think he's going to pull the trigger, waited a moment, did that little Cruyff turn again, opportunity lost.
Here's the corner from Lampard, delivers it to the penalty spot. Cherry is there, flick on by Anelka, loop towards goal, headed on by Drogba, hits the top of the crossbar and goes up behind. In fact, I think it was Mikel who got there at the far post and just dabbed the ball towards the crossbar, and it bounced off the top of the crossbar and behind and away for a goal kick.
Well, it was a very good corner from Frank Lampard. The Matthew Harding stand, right-footed out swinger. John Terry was on the penalty spot, just nods it towards the far post. It comes back out to Didier Drogba, just couldn't get it down. To be fair, the defender did very, very well, and it was that man, Zanka Jorgensen again, just stood in front of Drogba and the goalkeeper. Did enough to make Drogba hit the top of the crossbar.
In fairness to FC Copenhagen, with the initial attack from Anelka, which sparked that corner, he did out-sprint the defender Antonsen, who's got a gluteal problem, we must remind ourselves. But when he checked back, the covering defenders did very well to push him out wide again.
And there were two of them.
Yeah.
So no problems, like we say, with Copenhagen's commitment. You just look at them all around tonight and you think, who's going to go and win you the match? And I don't think there are very many match winners in the side.
Drogba, who has definitely been a Chelsea match winner for many a season now, gets the ball back to Lampard, into Mikel. Mikel out to Bosingwa. Bosingwa plays it off to the right, gives to Anelka. Oh, miscontrols it. Runs over the top of his toe. And that's the sort of lethargy that we're talking about with Chelsea, that sort of lack of spark, that lack of urgency, that knowledge in the back of the mind somewhere that they're already through to the quarter-finals, and you know they don't have to be as accurate, they don't have to be as sharp, they don't have to be as on top of their game as they usually would be, and as they're going to have to be on Sunday when they play Manchester City. Ball given away by Ashley Cole over on the far side now. It's picked up by Gronkia, who runs at Ivanovic, goes on the outside, produces a cross into the centre, and it's just behind the Costa Rican Bolaños and over the top of Bosingwa's head as well, and out of play on this near side and away for a Chelsea throw despite the best efforts of Pierre Bengtsson.
Well, good covering by Branislav Ivanovic. Right-sided central defender runs into the left-back area to track the run of former Chelsea hero Jesper Grønkjær as he gets down the right-hand side of the 18-yard box and wraps his foot right round the ball to the far post, but FC Copenhagen only gambled with the one player, Bolaños, at the far post. Didn't get anywhere near him.
Lovely little touch from Drogba to bring the ball away from the defender, and now he's turned and spun it back towards Anelka. Anelka runs into the penalty area. Good sliding challenge from Antonsen. Brilliant challenge from Antonsen. And then Anelka is pushed down towards the near side, and across comes Bengston and robs him of possession. Excellent defending by the Swedish defender, the 29-year-old who they thought wasn't going to make this game. And Didier Drogba then just slid in with a bit of frustration on Vingard, and he's considered a yellow card and a free kick.
Well, we're expecting some fireworks from Chelsea with the personnel that they've got capable of rolling out. Torres on the bench, Drogba and Anelka on the pitch. But what a challenge from Antonsen, the central defender. Again, Nicolas Anelka runs to the right-hand side of the 18-yard box, just about to pull the trigger. Goes to ground, and Antonsen comes away cleanly with the ball. Wonderful top draw defending.
It was excellent defending, and it's the second time that he's sort of thrown himself on the floor in that sort of situation. And the first time, Anelka Sodamadubi came on the inside as a result of that, which meant that there was covering defenders around to thwart the attack. This time he's just robbed him of possession. It was a brilliant tackle. Here is Nicolas Anelka playing it out to the far side, the left. Zhirkov approaching the penalty area. Back infield towards Mikel. Mikel again trying to find a way through these two banks of four in these bright pink jerseys. The Copenhagen fans get lively on the far side after Dame Ndoye is pulled back for having a little nibble at Ramirez, and it's a free kick to Chelsea just right of the centre circle.
You almost want Copenhagen to go forward and get a shot on target, not want them to score, quite simply just to sort of rattle a few cages and concentrate the minds if you're a Chelsea player.
There's even a couple of Chelsea supporters at the back of this stand who were saying, I wish that free kick had gone in because it might have sparked Chelsea into life. Here's Drogba breaking down the left-hand side. Ball into the box, comes back to Ramirez, and he just scuffs his shot. And it goes behind and away for a goal kick. But again, another good effort for Chelsea work, a good opportunity made by Drogba this time. Bit of persistence down the left, getting to the byline, pulls the ball back, comes back to Ramirez. It was difficult for him to get the shot away there, but again it goes begging.
Well, he just opened his body up, Ramirez, again a left footer, so it's always difficult coming when it's right across the right-hand side of his body. He's on the penalty spot, he's coming at pace. A right footer just gets his knee over the ball, top of the foot, buries that into the bottom right-hand corner, but unfortunately for Ramirez, just not happening in front of goal at the moment. So him many times in the old UEFA Cup and Europa League for Benfica. Very mobile, scored goals, 15, 20, 25 yards. Hasn't happened yet, has it, for Chelsea? He had that little spell mid-season, didn't he, where he started to look...
I still think he's been getting a lot better. I mean, it's only a couple of weeks ago he played in that game against Fulham, which Chelsea drew, of course, right at the end of the match when they probably could have...
How much did it cost, though?
I think it was £20 million. Just a little bit shy of £20 million.
So if you're watching his performance, right? So say £20 million. If you saw him today and watched his performance so far, what would you say his value would be in the here and now?
Well, I'll tell you what I wouldn't do. If I went to Tiffany's and bought myself a finger for my left ring finger, I wouldn't stick it on my thumb. And essentially, that's what you're doing here with Ramirez. You're playing him out of position on the right-hand side of midfield.
Don't tell me. Tell Carlo. Don't tell me.
You asked.
You got a little bit of anger in the Matterface there. I like it. The Chelsea fan came out.
No, let's not go down that road. It's
good players are supposed to be able to play anywhere, though, aren't they?
Could you have played at right fullback?
Easily.
57 minutes gone. It's Chelsea 0, FC Copenhagen 0, and Chelsea leading by 2-0 from the first leg. It will take them through to the quarterfinals of the competition alongside Manchester United, Spurs, Barcelona, Inter Milan, Schalke, Shakhtar, and possibly Real Madrid as well tonight. Maybe they'll draw Jose Mourinho again. You'll find out on Friday on Talksport, remember, from 11 o'clock on the Keys and Gray show. Here is Ramirez, just left of the centre circle. Plays the ball forward towards Anelka. The ball bounces back to Lampard and then Zhirkov, and now Lampard to Anelka again. Anelka into the penalty area, tries to pull it back towards Lampard, but it cannons off a defender, and Cloudermeyer will bring it clear. Out to the far side, Vingard sprints into the opposition half. If Copenhagen were to get a goal now, that would cause Chelsea a few moments of worry as the ball was whipped across the penalty area. Bolaños tries to get into the danger zone and dive in on the ball, but it's a little bit too heavy for him, and it goes behind and away for a goal kick away to our left. And we played 30 minutes of the second half here on Talksport, 10:89 and 10:53 on the medium wave. Remember, straight after the game, Stan Collymore and Danny Kelly will be here taking your calls. If you want to get in touch, you can call us now. We'll ring you back straight after the match. It's 08717 22 33 44.
A couple of things we really want to talk about. So Alex Ferguson, obviously today getting that 5-match ban. We want all football fans to get involved, whether they think it's worth it at all, whether it's too lenient, how we address the problem of managers. Do we let them have their mind, or do we need to give them much sterner punishment? Give us a call after the game.
Here is Zhirkov over on the far side. Chelsea looking to try and get something from this game. I think a 0-0 will be quite disappointing for them tonight, as the ball is played by Cole towards Anelka, who's in the left channel waiting for the ball. Across comes Vingard, dives in and puts it out for another corner. It's the fourth of the game for Chelsea.
We might just go for the little one between Zhirkov and Nicholas Anelka. They're standing a couple of yards away from each other. If not, Anelka needs to get himself in the box quickly before Zhirkov takes it.
The Frenchman in close proximity. He's not making any urgency to dash into the box. Is Ivanovic with a header at the near post. Comes back out to Ramirez, who lashes the ball on the volley towards goal. It's high and wide and into the Matthew Harding stand just below the banner which adorns the former vice chairman's name. And it's away for a goal kick away to our right.
We'd certainly be inclined now to think about Fernando Torres as an option.
Well, let's find out from the Moose whether or not he's warming up on the touchline. Moose, what's going on?
He's been warming up for about 5 minutes now, Sam. In fact, when he got off the bench along with Solomon Kalou and Florian Malouda, there was an almighty cheer down here. The lower tier of this main stand rose to him, and he's currently warming up, going through no more than I would say jogging exercise. I wouldn't say we're going to see him in the next 5 minutes or so.
Here's Anelka picking the ball up from the centre mid position, runs towards the edge of the D, unleashes a fearsome drive from about 25 yards, but it's straight down the middle of the goal and easy for the goalkeeper Johan Villan to collect. Good effort from Nicholas Anelka, purposeful run, darting in from that sort of left central position, got to the edge of the D and then shot very fiercely, but the direction wasn't probably the best.
Well, as soon as he ran from that left wing and came in, when he took the strike from 25 yards, it was dead central, so again he's shooting right at the goalkeeper. If the goalkeeper gets his chest behind the ball, his knees behind the ball, should never beat him from that position.
Chelsea concede a throw. Stella Solbakken just progresses into the technical area down in front of us. I think we're going to have a change, an offensive change from the Danish champions. There is a throw-in going to be taken 5 or 6 yards from the corner flag on this near side, the left, but the Moose can bring us the details of this change first of all. Moose.
Yes, Pierre Bengerson is coming off, and as you rightly say, it is an offensive change because Kenneth Zohore is coming on, 17-year-old Danish striker, 1 league goal to his name this season.
Attacking offensive move by Stella Solbakken as Zohore bounces into the penalty area down in front of us. He's quite tall and lean, and he may well try to cause Chelsea a few problems. I'm sure that's the reason he's been deployed. Ball thrown in towards Grankia, and it's chased out of play by Jose Basingwa and out for another throw, which Cloudemir will take. And I probably suspect this one's going to be one of those long ones angled into the goalkeeper. I'd say that because Ndoye is standing right in the face of Petr Cech with his hands up in the air. Isn't that ungentlemanly conduct?
It is. I mean, basically what he's tried to do, Ndoye stood right in front of Petr Cech, hands on his head like he'd just been nicked, not facing the play, so absolutely no reason for him to be doing that. And I think the referee got it absolutely spot on. He's facing
again.
He's a
blocker, isn't he?
Yeah, he's...
Here is the throw-in. It's in towards the edge of the penalty area, headed away rather easily by Didier Drogba. It was a bit of a waste of a throw. It goes out of play and away for another throw to the Danish side. And an attempted long throw down the left for Ndoye is thwarted by Basingwa, but it comes back to Cloudemir, 10 yards short of the penalty area. It's swirled across the pitch towards Vingard to Cloudemir once again. Out to the right-hand side, and a chance to come forward now for Kvist. Kvist into Cloudemir. Cloudemir down the left to Ndoye. Ndoye takes the ball away from the defender, tries to get a shot in on the turn, and he manages to do so, and it's on target, but it was weak enough for Petr Cech to sort of go down in slow motion and clutch it with 2 hands.
Well, I think all of the striking from distance, 25, 35 yards, have all been...
From both teams?
Good, yeah, from both sides have been textbook strikes, but they've all been way too close to the goalkeeper. There's nothing been tucked in either corner, making either keeper really stretch down to the left or right.
Well, the only real jaw-dropping moment that we've had tonight is that free kick from Ndoye after 26 minutes, which clattered the post, the far post, and Petr Cech was absolutely planted to the spot. He'd actually started to go to the other direction, from which the ball was going to nestle in the top corner. It was only thwarted by that post away to our right, which stopped Copenhagen from taking the lead on the night and needing only one goal to take this match through to extra time. At the moment it's still 0-0 and 2-0 to Chelsea on aggregate, and Chelsea with a chance to go through to the quarter-finals once again, but they would like a victory here. Drogba, down the far side is Zhirkov, heads the ball, angled in towards the edge of the 6-yard box. Lampard was joining up and trying to get on the end of it, but he was thwarted and it's cleared away. But with Zhirkov and Cole forward, there's a space on that right-hand side, Kafis to run into. He finds Ndoye now into the penalty area. He's got two central defenders around him, but he gets the shot away. The single was putting pressure on him as well, and it's 3 or 4 yards wide in the end from Dame Ndoye, but a good move from front to back very quickly from Copenhagen, which almost caught Chelsea out.
Yeah, it was a fantastic counter-attack, wasn't it? That after a good move by Didier Drogba on the edge of the box. He pings the ball out wide left. It ends up with Yuri Zhirkov, who nods the ball in front of Frank Lampard. Goalkeeper picks it up, and a great run from Kvist at the right-back position. 70, 80 yards, breaks to the right-hand side of the 18-yard box, finds Ndoye. But again, just not clinical enough finishing. But the die is cast in this half. Chelsea throwing everything at it. FC Copenhagen counter-attacking.
It's quite an open game. And here is the Costa Rican Bolaños, who I think played it a little bit behind Jesper Gronkia, but he's rescued the situation, collected it and run it towards the edge of the penalty area. He chips the ball to the far post. Bolaños is waiting for it. He volleys it in towards the penalty spot, stabbed away by John Terry. Chelsea defending here as Copenhagen come forward once again. Zanka, he's given it straight to Didier Drogba, but he hit it with enough ferocity that it came off of the Ivorian's chest and bounced back towards Antonsen, but then it's given away by Claudemir, and Chelsea now have a chance to bring the ball forward with Ramirez, who strides forward into the opposition half, backheel by Drogba to Lampard, and then back out to Ramirez, who's inside the penalty area, drags the ball back, stabs it to Lampard, who chips it to the far post, and Nelka is waiting for it, but it's a little bit too far ahead of him, and it just sort of swirls out of play and spins behind and away for a goal kick away to our right. Chelsea maybe a little bit trying to do too much before getting the shot away on that occasion.
Well, trying to walk the ball in, essentially. How many times have Chelsea had the ball in and around right, left, centre of the 18-yard box in good half-chance opportunities? 10, 12, 15 perhaps over the course of the game so far?
Yep.
I'll suggest that if this was a game that they needed to win, that they would be 2 or 3-0 up now, but...
Well, you think of Ramirez's efforts, Zhirkov's efforts, Didier Drogba having a chance right at the start of the second half. And Chelsea have had the chances to score goals in this game. They've had 16 shots in comparison to Copenhagen's 4. 5 of those shots have been on target, but it's still goalless between these two sides. Chelsea about to make a change. The Moose is on the touchline. We'll go to him very shortly indeed, because Chelsea have the ball in the corner of the pitch, attacking down our right-hand side, and they've won a corner. Moose, very quickly, tell us about it.
Very quickly, I can tell you, Chelsea reshuffle their pack up front. Fernando Torres will be joining the fray very shortly.
Right, stopwatch is on. 407 minutes so far is his running total of minutes on the pitch since signing from Liverpool. Without a goal for Chelsea. Here's the corner kick. It's the 5th of the night for Chelsea. Delivered towards the far post. Up there is Ivanovic with a header, and it's over the top of the crossbar. And Ivanovic is another one of those players who regularly nets from set pieces. He's got 5 goals already this season. He's scored a couple in the Champions League game here earlier in the campaign. I think it was against Žilina, which they won here, but couldn't net on that occasion. There's a splattering of applause as Fernando Torres walks into the technical area down in front of us. Could this be the day, Stan, that he scores?
Well, it could be. I mean, that's the one thing they've been lacking, is a finish this evening. Drogba's had a few half opportunities, so has Nicolas Anelka. You think if they keep pushing forward the way that they're doing, they'll get that chance. Could it fall to Fernando Torres, and could he get his first goal live on Talksport?
Ramirez is pulled back down this near side by Claudemir, and the free kick is given in Chelsea's favour, and the yellow card has been dished out to the Brazilian 22-year-old.
Just to let people know that aren't watching the game, that are listening solely to our commentary, and we hope they are. Good evening to you. The goalkeeper is wearing orange. Yes. They're wearing pink. I've got a little joke for you.
Okay.
The fuchsia's bright, the keeper's orange. You like that?
Very good.
You can have that one for free.
The fuchsia relating to the pink shirt, the blindingly obvious pink shirts which are piercing the landscape that we're looking at. Nicolas Anelka is coming off to be replaced by Fernando Torres. Fernando Torres, who so far hasn't scored a goal on a Chelsea shirt in the 5 games that he's played. This is the first time that he's come on as a substitute. He's on the pitch and the clock starts. How long will it take for Fernando Torres to score his first goal on a Chelsea shirt? A lot of the Chelsea supporters thought that tonight might be the night, which is why they bought their tickets, which were quite expensive for this
well,
evening's game.
It's obscene, 53 quid. I know that you could get anybody. This could have been, Real Madrid or Barcelona or whatever, and that would have probably adequately, at this level of football,
they're
been
very
at
cheap
the price.
For the group stages, but once they get into the knockout stages, they always put the prices up. But it was very expensive tonight for them to come and see their team, and without Fernando Torres, I think some of them were a little bit disappointed. But he's on the pitch now, still 0-0, and he's got good 22 minutes to try and score his first goal for Chelsea. Here over on the edge of the Chelsea penalty area is Petr Cech under a little bit of pressure from Zohore, the substitute, and now here's Fernando Torres as Cech clears. It's collected on the edge of the penalty area on the far side. Torres works his way into the box, gets the ball onto his right foot, tries a shot, takes a deflection and just goes wide of the goal.
Well, he tried to make it happen, didn't he? Ran down the left-hand channel. You can see what he was trying to do. He was almost trying to score a carbon copy of the goal he scored for Liverpool against Chelsea, where he keeps looking to lean back to his left and bend it into the top right-hand corner with his right. Gets the corner.
Sixth corner of the night. Zhirkov will take it. It's aimed towards Ivanovic, headed away by Ndoye, and then flicked back into the box by Lampard from distance, and it's well wide and away for a goal kick away to our right. 24 minutes gone in the second half, 70 approaching on the clock, and it's still 0-0 between these two sides, and Fernando Torres there just sort of picking the ball up, and you could just see he's so desperate to try and score. I remember the game against Manchester United, right at the end he was sort of lurking in and around the penalty area, doing good work for his teammates, but ultimately wanting to get on the end of something, and similarly up at Blackpool as well, where it just wasn't falling for him. He's desperate to get that first strike for Chelsea. Here's Zhirkov over on the far side, just in front of the halfway line. Ball goes out of play and away for a Copenhagen throw. Chelsea, of course, could possibly face any of the teams in the next round of the competition. I think they probably want to avoid Barcelona, probably Inter Milan again, on the way they've started to play under Leonardo. Real Madrid they wouldn't want to face. They probably wouldn't want to face Manchester United or Spurs either. To be honest with you, I think they'd be only happy if they got Schalke or Shakhtar Donetsk.
Do you know what? I think the best opportunity for Chelsea would be one of the English teams.
Really?
Yeah, I think that, because I think that would go for Manchester United. I think it would go for Spurs as well, because you don't need getting up for it. You're pretty much guaranteed as a player to be coming out and being in a familiar surroundings. The nerves aren't going to be as great as perhaps if you were going to the Camp Nou and the Santiago Bernabeu if Real Madrid stay in the game. If it were me, and I was playing for Man United, Spurs or Chelsea, I'd relish playing another English side.
Well, at the moment Real Madrid are going through from that game in the Santiago Bernabeu tonight against Lyon, who have been their nemesis over the course of the last few years. 7 times they've played them and haven't managed to beat them so far, but they're beating them 2-0 tonight. Here's Ashley Cole. Chelsea 0, Copenhagen 0. As the ball's flicked forward by Cole, it's aimed for Didier Drogba to chase. Out comes the goalkeeper, and he finds it very easy to collect on the edge of his box. And the Copenhagen fans, who have been a particular feature of the evening, a bit like the Marseille fans last night, once again start to rev up the atmosphere away to our left. They're occupying the shed end, if you've ever been to Chelsea, away to our left, which is 2-tiered. They've got their Danish flags flapping, and they're all bouncing up and down with their arms around one another as Copenhagen come forward, but they're dispossessed. Now Chelsea move down the left with Torres. Torres plays the ball into the feet of Zhirkov, and Zhirkov is pushed down a play by Kvist, and it's away for a throw over on the far side. Ashley Cole has it now. Torres trots into the penalty area. Lampard, Ramirez, Lampard once again, Lampard to Ramirez. Ramirez tries a ball, but it's in tight areas, and it's very difficult to try and open up a defence like that, especially when you're doing it with the likes of Ramirez and Frank Lampard going through the centre, and it was easily cut out by the goalkeeper. Now there is a problem down in front of the Chelsea goal away to our left, or I think it's Martin Vingard who's gone down. Moose can tell us about a possible change, probably.
Yes, the Danish side of Copenhagen, I have to say, their manager, Ståle Solbakken, has absolutely gone mad down here. He ordered, in fact, he absolutely shouted at his assistants to go and get César Santine to come back from his warm-up and get his shirt on, which he has now done, the Brazilian. But I have to say, he then shouted at the player to hurry up and get changed, and he's just really very unhappy, the Danish coach down here. By the way, the attendance, like you're going on about the ticket prices, 36,454, so a lot short of a capacity. And if you look at the top of the Matthew Harding, a lot of empty seats. But we're going to see Santine in a second or two.
Yeah, there's about a band of 6 rows at the top of the Matthew Harding stand, and a band at the front of that particular stand as well, of about 3 rows of seats, which have been sectioned off tonight.
I think that's not bad though. 36,000.
Yeah,
bearing in mind they're 2-0 up against
7,000 or 8,000 short of capacity here.
Not one of the biggest draws in European football, even if it was on a knife edge. So I think that 36,000 or thereabouts at 50 quid or 30 quid a pop, wherever the ticket pricing range is.
It's definitely not 30 quid, I'll tell you that much.
Is that in my dreams?
It's on one of your Sunday afternoon rants. Ball thrown down the left by Jesper Gronke and given back to Chelsea, who have allowed César Santine to come on, as César Santine has played a lot up front with Ndoye, who's now dropped back into midfield, and Gronke has gone out to the left-hand side to play on the wing. Santine has got long blonde hair and a long bright pink shirt on with it untucked at the waist. It's given away to Torres, edge of the penalty area. He goes past the defender, tries to flick with the outside of his boot. A flying save to the left by the goalkeeper prevents him from getting his first goal. Decent change of pace on the edge of the penalty area. He collected the ball about 5 yards outside the box. He stopped and stuttered momentarily, and then he put the accelerator down, went past the defender and tried to flick it past the goalkeeper.
Beautiful change of pace from Fernando Torres, left hand side of the 18-yard box. Just teases the right full back and then just goes past him, knocks the ball past him and tries to flick the ball with the outside of his right foot, gets it on target. Good save from Weiland. But just watching Fernando Torres' movement and his body language, he looks as if he's perhaps been working on his strength and his fitness down at Cobham. Looks very lively indeed since he's come on. His movement's been good. The only thing missing is that goal.
Change for Chelsea. Here's the Moose.
Yeah, Florian Malouda is going to join us. 3 Champions League goals for Chelsea. Yuri Zhirkov is going off. Just a quick one for Stan. Stan, when Torres came on, he was shown endless diagrams by Paul Clement before going on. That didn't happen with Malouda. Why do you have to show a player where to stand on the pitch?
Corners, set pieces, Moose. Just to remind, just a little refresher. They've done it at half time and before the game, but
all given away by Cloudomir to Malouda, to Torres, who's just straight offside.
For Fernando Torres in particular, you want obviously his central defenders first, Ivanovic, John Terry, maybe Frank Lampard, and then Didier Drogba, and Fernando Torres is the taller guys to be able to get back for corners and set pieces. So they've just shown him that last minute would have been nothing technical, because you expected to know that as a top quality striker that Torres undoubtedly is.
Chelsea 0, Copenhagen 0. Chelsea going through to the quarter-finals courtesy of their 2 away goals in the first leg 3 weeks ago at the moment. But here's Bolaños trying to cause some problems with a little flick round the corner. He goes past Ashley Cole, and the goalkeeper has to scurry out to the edge of the penalty area. Petr Cech, and he dives on the ball and robs the Costa region of a chance to try and put Copenhagen ahead on the night. Good little run by Bolaños, who looks quite a lively little player.
He's one of those players, isn't he, that probably if you watched him in the Argentinian league or the Brazilian league, he would be outstanding, but struggles in Europe.
Chelsea give the ball away, and here's Ndoye running to the angle of the penalty area, right-footed shot, and he's lifted it right over the top. I think it was a rush of blood to the head there for the Senegalese. He saw his name up in lights. He burst down the right into the penalty area at an angle. He got about 4 yards short of the 6-yard box and then lashed the ball on the half volley right over the top, and he had 2 men spare in the centre.
Well, I think it caught the Carlos Alberto bobble. You know, that the best ever goal that was sent down from the good Lord himself, when Pele just pops it to his right hand side, and if you watch it in slow motion, it just catches the bobble. Carlos Alberto drives it down with his right foot. Well, Ndoye got in a similar kind of area, but didn't end up in the back of the net, ended up rose end of the shed.
Free kick to Chelsea, to Copenhagen after Bolaños is pulled down by Florian Malouda, who, if you haven't seen recently, has had his hair trimmed. He's no longer got the braids down the back of the neck. It's a little bit more conservative now. Well, he's getting a little bit older, isn't he? Ball with Bolaños, who still has the shaggy look of a 25-year-old. Plays the ball back to the halfway line. Zanka. And then to Jesper Gronkia. Gronkia, decent ball down the right. A chance to cross now from the wing position by Kvist. In towards the near post. Cech comes flying out and gets there ahead of the Costa Rican winger Bolaños once again. And he bowls it out very quickly to Malouda to put Chelsea on the front foot. He feeds the ball onwards to Drogba. Drogba running in an angle towards the edge of the penalty area. Into the box now. Goes past Zanka. Gets to the byline. Decent tackle by Zanka, who watched him all the way. Didn't commit himself, but eventually put it out and away for a corner kick over on the far side. It's the 7th of the night for Chelsea. The 10th in total. If you were betting on over 9.5 corners tonight, you've got your lot. If you want more information on that and other in-play markets, go to sportingbet.com for all your in-play odds. 3-0 Real Madrid now in the Bernabeu. The corner comes in towards Terry on the penalty spot, and it's over the top of the crossbar.
Well, there's real ebb and flow to the game as it enters the last stage, last 12 or so minutes. Good run by Kvist. I think that he's shaken off that kind of defensive midfield berth that he held in the first half, and he's got forward at every opportunity. The coach, Stala Solbakken, is really pointing out, as the Moose said, he wants to really go right the way to the end on this one. They've got 3 up top. They've got Kvist bombing down the right. Couple of decent crosses.
Oh, and Ndoye collects the ball and then tries an effort from 40 yards, which is a little bit wasteful, really, because he collected the ball on the chest, turned past John Obi Mikel. Mikel was taken out of the game. There was space to run into, and instead of continuing with possession and trying to put Chelsea under a bit of pressure, he tried the ambitious effort from 40 yards, and as a result, he's given the ball straight back to Chelsea.
Awful play, though, wasn't it, from Ndoye? 40 yards out, dead central. He's got Cesar Santan and Kenneth Zohore bombing in front of him. But if he strides forward 3 or 4 yards, he plays one of them in, and they might get a shot on target. Name me the last player to beat Peter Cech from 45 yards from a direct shot. Doesn't happen.
Well, Chelsea have won a free kick, or in particular Didier Drogba has won a free kick. He was pushed in the back as he tried to hold up clearance from Petr Cech, and he has a free kick just left of centre, and it's roughly around about 29-30 yards from goal. Maybe a little bit more than that, really. 32-33 yards from goal. Lampard is standing over it as well, but there's only going to be one man who gets to take this. There's a 3-man FC Copenhagen wall, and the goalkeeper is planted around about a yard off his line, dead central. And the Ivorian will step up, right-footed. He gets it over the wall towards the corner. It's patted down by the goalkeeper and then bounced away to safety. Got it on target, but again, didn't test the goalkeeper properly. It's a little bit too far out for
a direct strike. I suppose it's one of those where you could just hang the ball up at the far post of somebody like John Terry, because I've been mightily impressed with what Andy Carroll's done this season when you get into those kind of positions. He wins 90% of the headers, nods it back across goal, and John Terry can do that. But
Pete
they obviously
Crouch does the sort of same, doesn't he? Really?
Exactly, Rafa van der Vaart. Yeah, they're sort of hanging the free kick at the far post, nodding it back across. It's almost like volleyball players at the net, isn't it?
Yeah.
You tee it up, somebody comes in, spikes it across over the other side of the net, and John Terry probably does that as well as anybody, to be fair.
10 minutes to go before the conclusion of the match. We still await our first goal of the night. That's not the full-time hooter being blown, by the way. It's Stan Collymmore's hooter.
I did move my mic.
Drogba down the right-hand side, attacking the corner. Plays a ball through his own legs and off of Oscar Wendt and out for another corner. It's the 8th of the game for Chelsea. And just to remind you that Real Madrid lead by 3-0. Corner to be taken by Didier Drogba. Drogba in towards the near post. It misses Ivanovic. It comes across the D, collected by Ramirez, who's being chased down by Cesar Santin. It's with Jose Bosingwa, who tries to pick out Drogba. It's headed away by Gronkia, but into the path of Lampard. Lampard looking for Torres. Torres has moved into an offensive position, but the offside flag went up. I mean, the referee said play on, but he would have been penalised anyway. 8 minutes to go here on Talksport. 10:89 and 10:53 on the medium wave. Remember, all the best reaction tomorrow morning with Sags and Ronnie Irani from 6 o'clock in the morning on the Alan Brazil Breakfast Show. And Stan and I have got live commentary of Everton against Fulham on Saturday from 5 o'clock here on Talksport. And on Sunday, it's Sunderland against Liverpool. Here's Zohore on the edge of the penalty area, played in by Gronkia, plays it back out to the left of Wendt. Well, it was a bad ball by Zohore anyway to play it back to Wendt. It was too heavy, and it comes off of Wendt and out of play and away for a Chelsea throw in the right full-back area.
1 or 2 tired legs now in those fluorescent pink shirts. It was a good position that Zahouri got in, right in the crescent of the D, edge of the 18-yard box. John Terry just slipped momentarily. A good striker just takes it with his instep, instinctively knows that the strike is on, but decided to come back away from goal. And again, any chance of getting a shot on target or a crossing disappeared.
Zanka out to the Costa Rican. Bolaños, who was booked for diving moments ago, delivers a ball angled into the box, collected by Petr Cech and bowled out to John Obi Mikel, who runs through the centre of midfield with Drogba on the right hand side. Drogba steps over the ball, allows it to run across his body, and then runs at an angle towards the edge of the penalty area down the right. He gets to the byline, goes past Fent. Fent goes in with a tackle, and he puts it out of play last, and it's away for a corner kick for Chelsea.
Good run by Didier Drogba, but I think that Fernando Torres had peeled away to the left-hand side of the 6-yard box when Didier Drogba was approaching the right-hand side of the 18-yard box. Should have just crossed the ball in then. Instead waited a little bit. They do get the corner. And a substitution's about to be made, Moose.
Certainly is. The third and final one for Chelsea tonight. It's Michael Essien who's coming on, and John Obi Mikel, hardly a man who was going to get you a goal in the last 8 minutes. Stan is coming off.
Good point, Moose. Never scored for Chelsea, John Obi Mikel. Michael Essien's chipped in with a few. He scored a couple, didn't he, away in the Champions League earlier in the season. Chelsea to have another corner, their 9th of the evening. Didier Drogba will distribute this one in towards the edge of the 6-yard box, headed away by Ndoye, back out to Drogba. Drogba with a chance to cross once again. He does do in towards the near post, and it's headed firmly out of play and away for another corner by Jesper Gronke, the former Chelsea player, the man who sent them into the Champions League in 2003. And a lot of people say that's the first time that Chelsea were in the Champions League. Of course it wasn't. They were in the Champions League in 1999 as well, when they played in a Champions League with 2 group stages. Let's play Leeds United during that. The ball flicked on the near post from the corner by Drogba towards Essien, who nods it forward. It's cleared away by Copenhagen, and Zahouri does well to keep it in down this near side in the wing position. He's got Santin in front of him, but he's still coming in field. He was hoping that Ndoye was going to help him out, but Ndoye is too tired to do so, and Chelsea have the ball now. And here's Fernando Torres in space in the opposition half, running 10 yards from the edge of the goal, urged to shoot by the crowd. Gives it back to Basingwa instead. He shoots left-footed, and it is about 15 yards wide. And the voice you can hear in the background screaming, "Dear, oh dear, oh dear," is Danny Kelly, because even he can't believe how poor that effort was.
Well, Chelsea fans are streaming away to try and get the early train or a march and everybody to get back home early. I don't blame them. It's been
average,
poor affair, to be fair. I mean, when you get Chelsea with the quality of team they've got, like I say, it goes 2 ways. You start like a train, you go and put a team to the sword 2 or 3-0, or you start very slowly and struggle to catch up, and that's what Chelsea have done all through the day. They've been nearly, but not quite enough. They're going to have to raise their game by a good 20 or 30% when Manchester City come a calling on Sunday.
Here's Fernando Torres taking the ball down the right, cutting in field, giving it to Malouda, out to the right, and Ramirez headed away by Antonsen, and back to Ramirez. Ramirez plays it down the right to Malouda. He just wasn't watching, and it just dribbles through.
Those are the little
goalkeeper.
things.
Well, lack of urgency again. It's that lack of being switched on, knowing that they don't need to be that.
Which will disappoint, Carlo Ancelotti. They are looking to retain their title.
I'm disappointed that people have parted with their hard-earned cash.
And don't forget, Manchester United, they were in a perilous position yesterday, but they went from it from the first minute, and they got their goal nice and early. Rode their luck a little bit, but there was never any doubt with the result.
Lovely ball by Torres on the turn, trying to play the ball through to Lampard, through the legs of the defender, but Lampard just couldn't get on the end of it. Cleared away by Copenhagen, and now Santin comes forward towards the edge of the Chelsea penalty area. He's got 4 pink shirts alongside him. He goes a shot from distance again, and it's well wide. And it's another wasted opportunity when in possession. It was 4-on-4 there. Chelsea backpedaling. Santan with the ball at his feet. He had Zahouri to his right and Ndoye to his left. Gronkia was joining up as well. And he went for a long shot from 25 yards, which was never going to beat Petr Cech.
Well, FC Copenhagen could be playing, both sides, to be fair, could be playing until this time tomorrow evening. It feels like morning, trust me. And it would still be 0-0.
Here down the left is Malouda. I mean, it's quite a lively atmosphere, and it's a pleasure to be here as always. It always is great to be at any of these venues on Champions League night. I mean, it just hasn't been the kind of occasion that we hoped for. Although, to be honest with you, I don't think we were expecting too much from this fixture. We knew it was already done and dusted. Here's Torres trying to dance his way past Kvist on the far side. Eventually he loses out, and the ball is given away, and Ndoye's got it in the centre circle for Copenhagen. To jinks past Michael Essien there, who ended up on his backside. And now Santin cutting in from the far side, the right, runs towards the angle of the box. He cuts back through his own legs and then comes infield to Bolaños. Bolaños is blocked by Lampard. Lampard into Santin. Lampard loses the ball. It goes through to Santin, and then Lampard wins it back with a combination of help from Ivanovic and Basingwa. And now Chelsea will try to counter-attack, and Ivanovic has strode into opposition territory. Malouda is over on the far side with the ball at his feet. He finds Didier Drogba. Ivanovic is in the centre, but Drogba goes for goal from fully 30 yards. And it
goes out for a throw-in.
It was
he struck the ball, Didier Drogba, right in the corner of the left-hand apex of the 18-yard box, and it went out for a throw-in on the right-hand side. I think that sufficiently sums up the game. Great build-up play. Not anywhere near switched on enough in front of goal.
Well, Chelsea have had a couple of decent opportunities in the second half. Zhirkov had the best of the efforts in the first half, and Drogba, right at the beginning of this second 45, from Jose Basingwa's super right-wing cross, found him free inside the penalty area. Usually from there you'd see him volley into the corner of the net. This time he sort of shanked it and it went wide. And really, apart from that, the best opportunity that I've seen in the game is that free kick from Ndoye. After 26 minutes, we've rattled the post, and that could have set the cat amongst the pigeons. But as it is, it's 0-0, and Chelsea are on their way into the latter stages of the competition. Here is Essien from distance, shoots, and it dribbles along the floor before bouncing out of play.
I think you could have a highlights reel of how not to strike the ball today. There must have been 25 to 30 strikes on both sides, whereby they've been sort of under grubbers, where you're striking the ball 25 yards dead central and it kind of trickles to the goalkeeper. The Didier Drogba strike from the left-hand side of the 18-yard box that went out for a throw-in. I mean, there are some heavy legs out there. We are getting to the stage of the season now whereby tiredness and mentally being able to lift yourself for big games.
Could you argue that Chelsea haven't overextended themselves because they know they've got bigger fish to fry?
Yeah, but you can't turn it on and off like that, Sam. If Chelsea put this lot to the sword tonight, 3-0, Drogba gets a couple, Anelka gets one, Torres comes on and gets a goal, whatever the scenario that gets them to 2, 3, 4, and they've had opportunities to take that result. They go into the Manchester City game, those individual players, as potential match winners, bubbling. If you come off the pitch today, you're tired, you're thinking, oh, crikey, Torres has gone, I've not got another goal. Didier Drogba's thinking, I've not scored again. My last memory is striking the ball from 25 yards and it going out for a throw-in. That's what you think as a player. And that's why in the dressing room a manager will say, in a game like this, it's better than a training session, so go and enjoy it, impose yourself on the opposition, win the game comfortably and move on to the next game.
3 minutes of added time. Moose, there has been a substitution, and the rather inventive Bolaños has departed the scene.
He has, and Thomas Christensen has come on, and it's emptying very quickly around me, so either I'm using wrong deodorant or everyone's taking your advice and gone early for the train.
I don't think we'll answer that question for you, Moose, just in case we give you the right answer. Only joking.
He's a links man, isn't he? Moose?
He's very good at linking the play. Here is Ivanovic doing a little bit of defending, poking the ball to Ramirez. Ramirez into Essien. Essien just short of the centre circle. Plays it to Lampard. Lampard now looking up and finding Malouda. Malouda runs towards the angle of the penalty area. Could this be a chance for Chelsea right at the end of the game? It's delivered in towards the penalty spot. Drogba gets ahead of the defender. Does he? No. Zanka definitely thought he did. In fact, the referee has given another corner to Chelsea, and it's out a player over on the far side. Now, many moons ago, Chelsea played FC Copenhagen in a game here. Marcel Desailly was playing for Chelsea at the time, and he scored a very, very late goal to send Chelsea through to the next round of the Cup Winners' Cup. I think it was 98-99. And maybe they'll get a late goal tonight. The corner comes in from the far side. Malouda will take it. It's towards the penalty spot. It's behind absolutely everyone and easily cleared away by the pink shirts of FC Copenhagen. Ramirez shrugs Cesar Santin off the ball and gives away a free kick. And once again, Copenhagen have got it. But it's given Chelsea a chance to get some men back towards the edge of their own penalty area. Here is Claudemir. into Christensen. Christensen, the substitute, tries to flick it out to the far side. A chance for Kvist now. Kvist delivers across into the box, headed away by Ivanovic. It's wide towards the left channel as far as Copenhagen are concerned. Ramirez comes out and clears up field, chested down by Drogba, and he's beaten Vent to the ball, and now he's taking it down the touchline. He knows that his job is done here. He beats him once again, swirls the ball to the edge of the penalty area. Lampard's in the box, he's unmarked, he knocks it back to Torres, and it's cleared away by Antonsen.
Unselfish play by Frank Lampard. Great work by Didier Drogba to hold the ball up on the right hand side. He whips it to the far side of the 18-yard box to Lampard, and you can see what he's trying to do. They're desperate to try and get.
Essien shoots from the edge of the penalty area wide. Well, it was a lovely little touch down the left for Malouda into Fernando Torres. He backheeled it into the path of the Ghanaian. Essien shot, and it was just over the top.
Great strike from Michael Essien when the ball was recycled after it was cleared from that attempted pass by Lampard in the 18-yard box to Torres. Got onto it like a shot, Michael Essien. Completely topped the ball, really gets his foot through it. Only about knee height. Drives all the way through past that left-hand post of FC Copenhagen.
Well, it's all
so nearly for Chelsea tonight.
All about qualification, and qualification is achieved for Chelsea. It wasn't the best of performances. It was a decent atmosphere right from the off, though, thanks to the contribution of the Copenhagen fans, who will be delighted with the way their team performed. To take a 0-0 draw away from Chelsea will probably be their best result in European football. Well, definitely as far as they can remember, that's for sure. Chelsea will look back to opportunities for Zhirkov, Didier Drogba, and maybe Fernando Torres when he came on right at the end as his shot was deflected over the top of the crossbar after 69 minutes. But the real opportunity which really had hearts racing came after 26 minutes. Ndoye with a free kick which hit the post, left Petacek planted to the floor, and if that had gone in, we may well have had a much better game than what we ended up having. Chelsea go through though, and that's all that matters, Stan.
It is. The job was done in the first leg in the Danish capital. Two fantastic strikes from Nicholas Anelka and a very professional Chelsea performance. They've earned this result. Having said that, as a player, when you go out and you're a little bit under par, maybe a little bit underprepared mentally and physically, you can end up making it more difficult for yourself. And as the Copenhagen players go and take their salute from their travelling supporters that have probably been the bright spark of the night, they bow out of the tournament. England now has 3 representatives in the Champions League. Bring them on.
Well, Carlo Ancelotti knows that Roman Abramovich hasn't been too impressed this season with the way things have gone for Chelsea. So much so that he might have to win this competition, the Champions League, just to keep his job. But they are one step closer to Wembley tonight, joining Spurs, Manchester United, Barcelona, Inter, Schalke, Shakhtar and Jose Mourinho's Real Madrid in the draw for the quarter-finals after beating Copenhagen on aggregate. 0-0 on the night, 2-0 over the 2 legs. It's finished here at Stamford Bridge with Chelsea through.
Thank you very much indeed, Sam and Stan. And now it's your turn here on Talksport. That phone number, as always, 08717 223344, 08717 223344. Let me tell you the drill. Myself and Stan will discuss the game in just a little while with you, and we'll be on till 11 o'clock. So there is so much to talk about. We'll talk about this game, of course we will. We'll talk about Alex Ferguson's 5-match ban and a £30,000 slap on the wrist for talking about referees out of order. We might talk about the England captaincy, and we want your calls as well on, now that we know that the last 8 in the Champions League is Tottenham, Shakhtar, Schalke, Barcelona, Man United, Inter, Real and Chelsea. English fans, come on and tell us who you want to see your team drawn against. Do you want to see Chelsea against their old master, Jose Mourinho? Would you prefer London Derby against Tottenham? Manchester United fans may have their view of how they can proceed. And Tottenham fans, give us a ring on 08717 223344 and tell us who you want to see in drawn on Friday in the next round of the Champions League. Much more of that to come as well. And what a night has been. Really, the colour has been provided by the colour of the shirts of FC Copenhagen and the antics of their huge band of fans away to our left. All of that coming up right here on Talksport, where you're listening to Kick Off with Ford, the official sponsors of the UEFA Champions League.